Chapter 31. 5 years later. After returning from dinner that day, Kyoshi quickly sorted out the relevant methods of compressing chakra and improving chakra quality, and handed them over to Chinano and Yagura. In the next few years, the sixth team that Kingxi was in continued to complete one difficult task after another. Under the conscious publicity of the elder Yuanxi and the third Mizukage Bing, the three of them became famous in the village and became three rising stars of the Hidden Mist village. However, because they were ANBU, other people in the village did not know their true identities and simply called them the three stars of the mist. Time is like a wild donkey, once it starts running, it can't be stopped. Soon, 5 years passed, and it was the beginning of the 33rd year of Kirigakure. Kingxi's current strength did not increase rapidly, but naturally improved to the level of an elite jonin over time. After all, he spent most of his time focusing on his own bloodline. But it is worth mentioning that Kingxi's chakra is extremely condensed, and its quality is more than twice that of ordinary ninjas. During these 5 years, Kingxi had completely absorbed the gift of his haki, and the blood of the Otsutsuki in his body had been completely upgraded to a higher level compared to the initial level. Unfortunately, Kingxi still could not awaken his own eyes, but he could vaguely feel that the power nurtured in his eyes was still growing, and the space of Mahakala that he had vaguely sensed before was becoming clearer and clearer. Chinano and Yagura's strength has also reached the level of Jonin, but because Chinano has been studying medical ninjutsu in recent years and has not fully focused on improving her own strength, Yagura's strength has surpassed Chinano at this time. Name: Otsutsuki CG. Age: 14, born on February 19, 2 in Kirigakure. Height: 178 cm. Ninja registration number: 005666. Ninja level: Elite Jonin, Chakra 16 cards. Mission experience: D level 0 times, C level 0 times, B level 22 times, A level 43 times, S level 26 times. Chakra attributes: wind, thunder, water, fire, earth, yin, yang. Mastered ninjutsu: wind style ninjutsu 20, lightning style ninjutsu 15, water style ninjutsu 30, fire style ninjutsu 25, earth style ninjutsu 20, yin style ninjutsu 3, yin-yang style ninjutsu 1. According to the attribute classification, perception ninjutsu should be considered yin escape, which will not be explained later. The technique of making the underground gold exchange identity token is inherited from the yin-yang escape method of Otsutsuki is Haki. Bloodline limit: corpse veins. Name: Yakura. Age: 14, born on February 19, 4 in Kirigakure. Height: 143 cm. Weight: xnumx kg. Ninja registration number: 005028. Ninja level: Jonin, Chakra 3 cards. Mission experience: D level 56 times, C level 28 times, B level 22 times, A level 43 times, S level 26 times. Chakra attributes: wind, water, yin, yang. Mastered ninjutsu: wind style ninjutsu 25, water style ninjutsu 25, yin style ninjutsu 2. Name: Chino Kizuna. Age: 18, born on February 15, 6 in Kirigakure. Height: 170 cm. Weight: xnumx kg. Ninja registration number: 003868. Ninja level: Jonin, Chakra 2.8 cards. Mission experience: D level 112 times, C level 68 times, B level 40 times, A level 58 times, S level 27 times. Chakra attributes: water, yang. Mastering ninjutsu: water style ninjutsu 30, medical ninjutsu 5. The Hidden Mist Village, the Anbu headquarters, the director's office. The 14-year-old Kingxi knelt on one knee on the ground, reporting the completion of the mission to the Captain Jian. That's about it. There have been more and more frictions in the ninja world recently. I think the war is getting closer and closer. Kingxi said in a deep voice. Gu, you are right. The village has already begun preparations in secret. We, the Kirigakure, are located overseas, far away from the mainland. Although we are unlikely to take the initiative to attack, we still have to be prepared to join the war at any time. Jian looked at Kingxi and was very satisfied with Kingxi's performance in the Anbu. Then from today on, you will be the captain of the first team of the Anbu. Hua will be your deputy, Jing will take over as the captain of the sixth team, and you will be responsible for filling the missing manpower. Go. Jian continued to order. Yes. Then I'll take my leave. Ching Si replied respectfully, then stood up and walked out of the minister's office. Feng, the former captain of the 31th squad, and Wu, the captain of the ST squad, encountered the third Raikage AI and a large number of Anbu from the Hidden Cloud Village in the Land of Lightning during an S-level joint mission in the ST year of the Hidden Cloud Village. Although the mission was successfully completed in the end, in order to cover the retreat of others including Kingxi, Feng used up all his chakra to use the A-level water ninjutsu, the Great Explosion Water Shock Wave, which trapped all the Hidden Cloud Anbu. In the end, Feng died in battle because of the exhaustion of chakra. After Wu intercepted the third Raikage for about 3 minutes, he was pierced through the heart by the third Raikage Zippon Kanjutsu and died on the spot. After that mission, Kyoji replaced Feng as the captain of the 6th team. Because Kyoji's strength had reached the level of an elite Jonin and Yagura and Chinano had also become Jonin, the 6th team has always maintained a 3-person structure without adding any other members. Under the leadership of Kyoshi, the 3 also completed many difficult tasks and created a record of 100% mission completion rate for the Kirigakure Anbu team. After coming out of the office, Kingxi went straight to the first team's usual base, the first training ground. He was going to meet his future subordinates. When they arrived at the place, the teams that had been notified by the Captain Ken had already assembled. Kingxi appeared in front of everyone in an instant, signaled to Yagura and Chinano, and then his expression became serious. I'm Bones, the new captain of the first team of the Anbu. Some of you have been on missions with me, but most of you may not be familiar with me. We in Kirigakure have always admired the strong. Today is my first day in office, and I'm giving you this opportunity. If anyone is not convinced, you can come and compete with me. If you can defeat me, I'll give you the position of captain. But after today, if you disobey my orders in secret, humph. Kingxi spoke loudly, his words full of confidence in his own strength. Everyone looked at each other, and then 2 people slowly walked out from the front row of the crowd. Judging from their positions just now, they should be the captains of the first and second teams. Mr. Captain, we too are incompetent, but we would like to learn from you what you can do. One of them said to Kingxi. Chapter 32. The ones who want to challenge Kingxi are Ziguishan Pufferfish, the captain of the first team, and Zi, the captain of the second team. Kingxi knew the Ziguishan Pufferfish demon, mainly because his body shape was so easy to recognize. His long orange hair that reached down to his waist and his unique huge body made him unique in the ninja world. Because of this, Ziguishan Puffer Ghost does not have any code name and usually does not wear a mask because it is useless. Any serious ninja will be able to recognize him even if he is wearing a mask. As for the captain of the second team, Zi, Kingxi didn't know much about this person. But in Kingxi's perception, the unique cold feeling made Kingxi know that Zi should be from the Snow Clan who mastered the Ice Release Bloodline Genkai. Ziguishan Puffer Ghost was born in Kirigakure 12 years ago. He is 21 years old this year and has the strength of a Jonin limit close to that of an elite Jonin. Originally, when the position of the squad leader of the first squad became vacant, he thought he was the strongest contender for the squad leader. Although his strength has not yet reached the level of an elite Jonin, his chakra volume exceeds 30 calories at the Jonin stage. With his chakra volume far exceeding that of a normal ninja, he can maintain his undefeated battle against an elite Jonin, and he is also old enough in the Anbu. But he did not expect that the person who became the squad leader in the end was a young boy from the 6th squad, which made him extremely dissatisfied. Zi stood up simply because she wanted to fight Kingxi. Because in the eyes of the Bloodline clan members, if you want to lead me, you must be stronger than me. However, since someone jumped out, no matter what the reason was, Kingxi had to defeat them quickly with thundering means to achieve the purpose of establishing his authority. Okay then, is there anyone else coming? Kingxi confirmed with the others. Seeing that no one responded for a long time, Kingxi prepared to start a fight with Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi. Let me go first. Zi took a step forward and said with his head raised. No need, you two can come together. Kingxi replied indifferently, and his casual tone couldn't help but anger the two of them. You said it. Zi, let's work together to teach him a lesson. Ziguishan Puffer Ghost said angrily. As a well-known figure in the Anbu, he felt that he was underestimated by Kingxi. Kingxi took off his Anbu armor slowly and removed his shirt, revealing his strong upper body. His 8 abdominal muscles, sharp edges and well-defined muscles seemed like a masterpiece carefully carved by a sculptor, revealing a strong power. Zi, who had some knowledge of the Kagaya clan, which was also a bloodline clan, couldn't help but shrink his pupils when he saw King Si's actions. He had seen the battles of the Kagaya clan's corpse vein owners. Ordinary Kagaya clan members fought like crazy, but the Kagaya who had awakened the corpse vein were completely different. Everyone was an elegant dancer. Zigwashan, take action. He is the awakened corpse vein of the Hyuga clan. Zi shouted at Zigwashan Puffer Ghost. Upon hearing this, Zigwashan Puffer Ghost quickly began to form seals. His long orange hair began to float up and became extremely hard as the seal was completed. Then it fell off and turned into hair needles, shooting towards King Si at a high speed like a rainstorm. Ninjutsu, Senshao Senbon. By this time, Kyoshi had already taken off all his clothes, and threw them to Yagura's side. Tu dun tu liubi. Seeing the fierce attack of the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Demon, Ching Si had no intention of resisting. He formed seals with both hands, and the earth attribute chakra quickly poured into the ground to form multiple vertical earth walls. Bang! 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 The incoming hairpins hit the earth wall heavily, stirring up a thick cloud of smoke. Suddenly, a tall earth wall rose up behind the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost, and a figure jumped out from behind the earth wall and ran straight towards the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost. It was Ching Si who sneaked over using the earth escape technique. Too naive, kid! Watermelon Mountain Puffer Fish Ghost shouted disdainfully. With a huge amount of chakra, he could not understand the pain of Hitaki Kakashi's lack of mana in the future, and used ninjutsu as if it was free. Ninja technique, Thousand Needles. The hair grew rapidly, turning into a thick, large orange senbon that stabbed towards Ciji. King Si did not dodge or evade, but charged head-on into the attack from the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Demon. Puff! The hair of the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost pierced Ching Si's body, but it was only Ching Si's earth clone. Ching Si took advantage of the situation to control the mud formed by the earth clone being killed, and tightly imprisoned the hair of the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost. Another Ching Si appeared beside the earth clone, and his hands quickly formed seals, leaving after images in the air. Wei Wu Chen Yin, the 4 seals were completed quickly. Earth Escape Earth Dragon Bomb. The soil on the ground softened, and an earth dragon rose up. It opened its mouth and sprayed a large number of extremely fast earth bombs towards the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost in front of it. It's not over yet. Ching Si's seal pattern continued, Wei Wu Zhou Yin. Fire Style, Fire Dragon Bullet. Ching Si opened his mouth and spit out a scorching fire dragon that quickly caught up with the earth bullet that the earth dragon had just shot out. Combined ninjutsu, Earth Dragon Flame Bullet. The flames wrapped around the earth bombs, creating a lava-like effect, and shot towards the densely packed pufferfish ghosts of Watermelon Mountain. As expected of him who is so young and can become a squad leader, he actually combined Earth Escape and Fire Escape to form an attack. The people watching the battle whispered to each other. Add some settings. Combination ninjutsu is an attack formed by combining 2 ninjutsu, such as Earth Dragon Flame Bomb, Thunder Water Dragon Bomb, and Hurricane Water Vortex Jutsu. Compound ninjutsu is a combination of 2 ninjutsu, which fuse together to form a new attack similar to the ninjutsu bloodline limit, such as the Scorch Release, Light Wheel Gale Black Arrow Zero style that was fused together by Naruto and Sasuke during the Fourth War. Chapter 33. Under King Si's control, the Earth Dragon Bomb and Fire Dragon Bomb, both of which are B-level, formed a combination ninjutsu, Earth Dragon and Fire Bomb, which is more powerful than ordinary A-level ninjutsu. The power of the spell was so great that the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost felt a fatal threat. If he was hit, he would be seriously injured at least. He hurriedly tried to dodge. However, the hair he used for attack was firmly held by Ching Si's earth clone. Just when the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost made up his mind to cut off his hair to survive, an ice wall appeared in front of him in time. It was Zi who made the move. Ice Release, Ice Crystal Wall. A transparent ice wall rose up, blocking the attack path of the Earth Dragon Fire Bomb. Knowing that an ordinary water array wall could not withstand the bombardment of the combined ninjutsu, Zi directly used his bloodline limit. Boom! The Earth Dragon Flame Bomb hit the ice wall, making a loud roar. With Zi's move, the Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish Ghost finally had enough time to break free. The Zigwashan Puffer Ghost, who had escaped the range of the Earth Dragon Flame Bomb, quickly retreated to Zi's side and looked at King Si with lingering fear. He did not expect King Si to be able to use such a powerful combination of ninjutsu, which almost made Zigwashan lose his hair. The attack didn't work, but King Si wasn't upset. If Ziguishan was defeated so easily, it would only mean that his reputation as a rival to elite Jonin was too weak. Qing Si's hands flew up and down, continuing to make seals, leaving after images in the air. At the same time, Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi also looked at each other and also started to make seals. The two sides are about to engage in a ninjutsu duel. Water style, Damaixi Yuha. Water style, Damaixi Yuha. King Si and Ziguishan Puffer completed the ninjutsu at the same time. Chakra gathered in their throats, and they spit out a lot of water from their mouths to the ground at the same time, rushing towards each other. The two streams of water collided heavily, stirring up mist all over the sky. Corpse bone vein 10-finger piercing bullet. King Si's voice came from the mist, and a large number of bone bullets penetrated the mist and flew in. King Si took advantage of the fact that Zi was still making hand seals and Ziguishan Puffer Ghost's next wave of ninjutsu was not ready, and used the corpse bone vein ability that did not require hand seals to launch an attack first. The Ziguishan Puffer Ghost did not interrupt the seal in his hand. He took a step forward and stood in front of Zi, controlling his hair to harden again, forming an impenetrable defense layer in front. The bone bullets kept bombarding and were about to break through the defense of the hair. At this time, the A-level water-style ninjutsu that the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost had prepared for a long time was finally completed. Who will build the water escape dam? The Ziguishan Puffer Ghost spewed out a huge amount of water from its mouth, instantly forming a huge ellipsoidal water prison that covered the entire first training ground. The Ziguishan Puffer Demon controlled the chakra to expel the spectators from the giant water prison, leaving only King Si and Zi inside. At this time, Zi's ninjutsu was also ready. Ice Escape Ice Age. As an A-level ice ninjutsu, the preparation time of Ice Age is very long, but its power is equally impressive. The huge water ball that the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Demon just created began to freeze rapidly from where the two were. In the blink of an eye, the water ball turned into an ice ball, firmly pinning King Si inside it. Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi slowly broke free from the ice prison with a look of joy on their faces. They did not think that King Si could break free from the ninjutsu they performed together. Admit defeat. Captain, just consider this as a lesson for your arrogance today. The Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish Ghost said proudly. Haha. The only response he got was King Si's sneer. The taunting from the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost was like lighting a light in the toilet, courting death. It seems that you are not just people who have gained your reputation for nothing, so I'll be a little more serious too. Qing Si's indifferent voice without any emotion came from the ice prison, echoing throughout the entire venue that had been silenced by the scale of the fight between the two sides. Dance. A low humming voice was heard. Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi were in disbelief when they heard King Si's words. Were the attacks just now just warm-ups? It was obvious that the two opponents had already exerted their full strength. Corpse Vein Dance of Early Fern. As Qing Si's low groan fell, dense white bone spurs broke out from the ice prison, instantly shattering the huge ice prison, and ice chips flew all over the sky and scattered down. A figure floated down, it was King Si who broke through the ice. Then let's continue our second round. King Si said calmly. Stop looking down on me. The Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost shouted, shouting loudly to cover up the fear that was emerging in his heart. King Si put his hands together and began to make seals, Wei Wu Si Chen Zi Zhou Yin. In an instant, he completed 6 seals. King Si's chest swelled and chakra condensed in his mouth. Fire release, Fire Dragon Flame Bullet. A large amount of scorching flame spit out of King Si's mouth, dancing like a violent dragon. Under the control of chakra, he attacked the Ziguishan Pufferfish Demon and Zi from the front, left and right directions. While using fire release, the seals in King Si's hands continued to change. Wu Wu Yu, King Si ended the spitting of flames and gathered a large amount of chakra in his mouth again. Wind Escape Big Breakthrough. A violent gust of wind was exhaled from King Si's mouth, catching up with the flame that had just been exhaled at a faster speed and merging together. Combined Ninjutsu, Fire Dragon Flame Bullet. The wind helped the fire, and the red flames turned golden with the help of Wind Escape, making everyone watching the battle from a distance feel a wave of heat coming towards them. Even people far away could feel the high temperature, let alone the Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi who were facing the attack directly. The scorching air hit them in the face, and beads of sweat the size of beans kept sliding down their faces to the ground. Chapter 34. Water Escape Water Formation Wall. Ice Release, Ice Crystal Wall. The Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi put up their defenses at the same time, with the water array wall blocking in front and layers of ice walls behind them that wrapped around the two of them without any blind spots. The blazing golden flames hit the water array wall used by the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost. The flames, with a temperature of over 1200 degrees, instantly evaporated the water array wall. A large amount of water vapor and white smoke rose up, blurring everyone's vision. Boom! 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 Loud noises were heard one after another, and the layers of ice walls were constantly broken through, unable to stop the advance of the flames. Zi continued to output chakra and continuously created ice walls to resist. Finally, after Zi consumed nearly half of his chakra, the power contained in the flame was exhausted, but the entire first training ground was completely covered by thick smoke and water vapor. The two men, who had no perception ability, stood back to back in the thick smoke, guarding against an attack that Kingxi might launch at any time. A sharp sound of breaking through the air suddenly came from the direction that the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost was facing, and several bone blades penetrated the heavy fog and shot towards the limbs of the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost. The Ziguishan Puffer Demon roared, pulled out the standard ninja sword that he had been carrying behind his back, and swung it wildly, blocking all the bone blades and scattering them around the two of them. Seeing that he had successfully blocked the attack, Ziguishan Pufferfish Ghost's tense nerves relaxed a little. Suddenly, Zi behind him noticed something was wrong, but it was too late. Boom! A bone blade beside the two men emitted a burst of white smoke. Kingxi rushed out from the smoke and kicked Zi out with a flying kick. Then he spun gracefully in the air while accumulating strength, and kicked again with a heavy kick, kicking the Ziguishan Puffer Ghost away. It was Kingxi who used the transformation technique to turn himself into a bone blade, blending in among the bone blades that had just been shot out. Then, when the two were caught off guard, he untransformed and appeared in the blink of an eye, kicking the two away. The thick fog blocked his vision but could not block Kingxi's perception. This combat environment was like a fish in water for Kingxi, who had a strong perception. The sounds of fighting in the smoke had subsided, and the fog slowly dissipated. The envy watching the fight clearly saw that Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi were each restrained by Kingxi's two clones, with sharp bone blades pointing at their throats. Everyone was silent as they watched the two men being easily defeated in a short time. What a strong new team leader! You lost! Kingxi said indifferently to Ziguishan Puffer Ghost and Zi. Zi did not answer, but in his heart he had already recognized Kingxi, the powerful new squad leader, and was willing to follow him and serve under him. The Ziguishan Puffer Ghost also lowered his proud head and respectfully expressed his submission to Kingxi. It was very common in the Hidden Mist village to worship and follow the strong, so the two did not feel any shame in submitting to Kyoji, who was much stronger than them. The 6 team leaders in Hwa stay, the rest of you can go, Kingxi said. The captain has given our first squad the authority to replenish its own personnel. The teams that are not fully staffed must fill their positions as quickly as possible. Ziguishan and Jing, your 1st and 6th squads have the biggest staffing gaps right now. Forget about today. Tomorrow morning, you and Hwa will go to the reserve training department of the Anbu to see if there are any good candidates. Kingxi continued to instruct. Ziguishan Pufferfish and Yagura nodded in agreement. Then Kingxi turned to Zi and said, the second team is currently fully staffed. You should set off now and go to the capital of the Water Kingdom as quickly as possible. This is the mission scroll. You can read it on the way. After completing the mission, send a message to me immediately using the Ninja Hawk. Yes. Lord Gu. Zi responded, and then quickly left to gather the team members. Ching Si, who had just taken office, arranged various tasks in a swift and decisive manner, and then let everyone under his command go their separate ways. The next day, early in the morning, the mountains in the distance were already framed with a golden edge by the rising sun. After getting up, Kingxi accompanied his grandfather Yuanxi for breakfast. After getting dressed, he went directly to the location of the Anbu Reserve Training Department. The Anbu Reserve Training Department, as the name implies, is a place to train new Anbu members, mainly civilians or ninjas from small ninja clans. Trained new members can be added to the official Anbu team at any time. As for why Kingxi and Yagura did not go through this department, of course it was because Kingxi had a good grandfather, and Yagura's last name was Kyuji. When he arrived at the training base, Kingxi saw Ziguishan, Yagura and Chinano had already arrived and were waiting for his arrival in front of the base. After entering the base, a masked ANBU approached them. Recognizing that the mask belonged to the 3rd squad, Kingxi took the initiative to reveal his identity and handed over the warrant given by Jian, I am the squad leader of the first squad, Gu, and I am here to reinforce the manpower under the order of the captain. After verifying the identities of Kingxi and others, the other party immediately led Kingxi and others to their daily training place. Standing upstairs, Kingxi glanced at all the people who were fighting in groups on the training ground below, and his attention was instantly attracted by one of the groups. Chapter 35. The two people that Kingxi was paying attention to were fighting. One of them had long black hair with a vertical braid, thick lips, and sharp teeth. His left eye was covered with a black cloth, and his head and neck were wrapped in bandages. The other one was tall, with slender limbs, and had long, fluffy yellow hair. He was wearing a black top and trousers, grey gloves, and his neck was also wrapped in a fluffy bandage. Seeing that Kingxi was attracted by the fight between the two, the envoy who led them here explained, "You have a good vision, sir. These two can be said to be the best among this group of people. If our team and even our third team were not short of manpower recently, they would have been taken away by our captains long ago. Not bad. Although his strength is only at the level of a chunin, close to an elite chunin, his combat experience is very rich and even not inferior to some jonin. He can be supplemented as an immediate combat force." Kingxi praised. "Jing, what do you think?" Kingxi turned to Yagura and asked. "How should I watch?" "Of course I'll watch while standing." Yagura's old habit came back and he started joking. "Kami!" Kiano shouted, "Be respectful to the captain." "Hey! Hey! Hey!" Yagura shrank his neck in response to Chino's scolding, and the blood suppression of the elder sister on the younger brother took effect again. He didn't want Chino to perform a neck-locking drama in front of outsiders. "I think it's okay, Captain, let the decision be made." "Hana." Kingxi said to Kiano, "Go to the archives room and get the information of these two people." Kiano took the order and left. Not long after, she brought back two files. Kingxi took the files and opened them to check. Name, Kurisha Kushimaru. Age, 10, born on February 23, 11 in Kirigakure. Height, 168 cm. Weight, XNUMX kg. Ninja registration number, 006432. Ninja level, Chunin, Chakra 0.35 calories. Mission experience, D level 23 times, C level 10 times, B level 6 times, A level 2 times, S level 1 times. Chakra attributes, Water, Yin. Mastering Ninjutsu, Water Style Ninjutsu 12. Name, Mori Shinpeiki. Age, 11, born on February 22, 7 in Kirigakure. Height, 163 cm. Weight, XNUMX kg. Ninja registration number, 006023. Ninja level, Chunin, Chakra 0.48 calories. Mission experience, D level 60 times, C level 15 times, B level 10 times, A level 3 times, S level 1 times. Chakra attributes, Water, Fire, Yin. Mastered Ninjutsu, Water Style Ninjutsu 10, Fire Style Ninjutsu 5. Soon, Kingxi finished reading the information and got the information he wanted to know. The tall one is named Kurishan Kushimaru, and the shorter one is named Murashige Shinpeiki. The two of them were more talented than their peers. They killed their opponents instantly in the graduation exam of the ninja school in the Hidden Mist village, so they were noticed and recruited by the Anbu. During the reserve training of the Anbu, the two of them still performed well and showed extremely high quality. Whether it was intelligence acquisition, assassination, or cleaning up rebellious ninjas, their mission completion rate was 100% so far. After quickly looking through the information of the two, Kingxi nodded with satisfaction and handed the file to Yagura. "You can take a look too. If you are satisfied, they will be yours," Kingxi said to Yagura. Yagura took the file and quickly read it through, also expressing satisfaction. Yagura then instantly went down and appeared between the two of them. He wanted to personally test Kurisan Kushimaru and Mori Shinpeiki. The Watermelon Mountain Puffer ghost nearby also took a fancy to a young man who was sparring with others below. This person has short black hair. His most notable feature is that he has no eyebrows. He has sharp teeth, a large cross scar on the right side of his face, his ears and neck are wrapped in bandages, and the lower half of his face is painted with red stripes. "Sir?" Ziguishan asked Kingxi. Kingxi did not answer, but motioned for Chino to go to the archives room again. Soon, Chino came back with another file. Name, Biwajozo. Age, 9, born on February 24, 1 in Kirigakure. Height, 148 cm. Weight, xnumx kg. Ninja registration number, 006903. Ninja level, Chunin, Chakra 0.3 calories. Mission experience, D level 23 times, C level 9 times, B level 1 times, A level 1 times, S level 0 times. Chakra attributes, Water, Yang. Mastering Ninjutsu, Water Style Ninjutsu 8. Handing the file to Zigwashin Puffer Ghost, King C asked casually, "Do you think highly of him?" At present, his resume is not very impressive, and his strength has just reached the level of Chunin. "Yes, sir. I thought he was pleasing to the eye the first time I saw him. I believe he will be a good subordinate." The Watermelon Mountain Puffer Ghost explained respectfully. King C did not have the idea of discouraging the enthusiasm of his subordinates, so he nodded slightly to the Zigwashin Puffer Ghost, indicating that he agreed to accept Biwajozo. No one knows what the Zigwashin Puffer Ghost sees in the currently mediocre Biwajozang, but he has indeed discovered an incredible talent for the first team. At this time, no one including Kyoji had expected that Biwajozo would rapidly increase his strength in a few years and become the user of the broken sword and beheading sword in the Mizu Cage Guards, the 7 ninja swordsmen that would be formed in the future. Chapter 36. At this time, Yagura below also completed his tests on Kurisan Kushimaru and Muri Shinpeki and returned to Seiji's side. "Let's go, these are the only 3 of us left. I will go to the captain later to give the redeployment order. Jing, I have found the last person missing from your 6th squad. I will have him report to you at the first training ground tomorrow." King C said, then turned and left. He wanted to go back to the base to familiarize himself with the work of the entire first squad as soon as possible and make task arrangements for everyone. The Land of Frost, the Mountain Cemetery, and Uchihamadara's underground base. Uchihamadara sat silently under the outer path demon statue, without a trace of life. At this time, a white humanoid creature slowly emerged from the ground. It was the subordinate named White Zetsu that Uchihamadara thought he had cultivated with the help of the outer path demon statue and Hashirama's cells. When White Zetsu was successfully cultivated, actually awakened by Black Zetsu, who took the opportunity to appear, Madara was surprised to find that this artificial creature full of Hashirama's cells actually had an ability called Mayfly technique that could blend with the Earth's vegetation and move quickly. Moreover, it could move to any place at high speed by intervening in the organic networks such as the roots of plants and underground water flows in the ground, and most importantly, during the activation of White Zetsu's ninjutsu, all breath would be cut off, and even Uchihamadara could not detect it. In addition, Madara also discovered that White Zetsu could create a large number of clones. Although their strength was very weak, they were excellent tools for exploration and obtaining intelligence. So after having White Zetsu, Madara almost never left the base. After giving White Zetsu a task and letting his clones scatter across the ninja world to obtain intelligence, Madara spent most of his time in deep sleep. "Lord Madara! I'm back!" White Zetsu woke Uchihamadara from his deep sleep. The one who was speaking was the real body of White Zetsu, and he brought Madara the long-awaited news. "Speak." Uchihamadara's old but domineering voice came, with a hint of fatigue in his voice. After all, he was an old man who was almost 80 years old. "We found an excellent vessel about 5 years old in the Rain Country," White Zetsu said. "He has bright red hair." At this time, a slightly jumpy voice came, and a vortex-faced White Zetsu appeared next to the White Zetsu original body. This strange White Zetsu clone might have some problems, and it was obviously different from other White Zetsu clones, and he also gave himself a name called Afei. "Red hair, from the Uzumaki clan?" "Very good, the Uzumaki clan, who have the strongest vitality in the ninja world, can definitely bear my Rinnegan." Uchihamadara muttered to himself, and it was unknown whether he was thinking of Senju Hashirama or his rival Uzumaki Mito. "This kid is called Nagato. From what we have observed, he should have a very good talent for being a ninja. His parents are both doctors in the Rain Village, but they don't usually live in the village. His mother also has red hair." White Zetsu introduced Nagato's basic situation to Uchihamadara. Hearing this, Uchihamadara suddenly reached out and took off his own eyes, then replaced them with the spare Sharingan that he had prepared long ago, and then handed the eyes to the White Zetsu's original body. "Go, give my eyes to this brat, let him take care of it temporarily instead of me. Plug and replace. JPG. Yes. Then we'll go now." The White Zetsu's real body agreed and immediately took the vortex-faced White Zetsu Afei and were ready to leave. He knew this matter too well. But White Zetsu still failed to stop him, and finally allowed the whirlpool-faced Afei to ask his question. Master Ban, can I ask you one last question? What does it feel like when you have the urge to defecate? Afei asked the annoying question in an annoying voice. Get out! A terrible chakra storm suddenly broke out, filling the entire underground base. Black Zetsu, who had been watching from the dark, saw White Zetsu leave and immediately followed him. Transplanting the Samsara Eye was a big deal, and he had to make sure that there would be no mistakes in the Samsara Eye. Hashirama, just watch. I will create a peaceful ninja world. Madara whispered, and slowly fell asleep again. White Zetsu brought a Fi and soon met up with Black Zetsu outside. The three guys, who it was not known whether they could be considered human beings, quickly rushed to the Rain Country. They wanted to transplant Madara's Rinnegan to the young Nagato as soon as possible so that he could contribute his strength to the plan as soon as possible. Not long after, they arrived at Nagato's home. His father Ise and mother Fuzu had gone to work in the Rain Village, leaving Nagato alone at home. Black Zetsu used his spirit to possess a rain ninja that he met on the road, and then controlled him with spirit fusion. Since Nagato's parents were not ninjas, and there was no ninja training method in Nagato's family, Black Zetsu easily knocked Nagato down with illusion. Under the control of White Zetsu, Uchiha Madara's eyes replaced Nagato's original eyes. After the Rinnegan entered Nagato's eye sockets, it degenerated into ordinary eyes due to the loss of Uchiha Madara's chakra support for a long time. After a long time, Nagato woke up from his coma. He had no idea that he was under an illusion and thought he was too tired to fall asleep. He had no idea that during this period of time, his eyes had been replaced by someone. The gears of fate began to turn. Chapter 37. In the capital of the Land of Water, the second squad of the 1st Division of the Kirigakure Audiobook, led by squad leader Zi, are completing the tasks assigned to them by CG. After receiving King C's order, the second team rushed to the capital of the Water Kingdom day and night regardless of chakra consumption, and arrived at the capital at 11 p.m. the next day. After arriving at the capital, Zi quickly contacted the member of the Underground Gold Exchange who was responsible for collecting intelligence on the ninja world for Kyoji according to the contact information recorded by Kyoji in the mission scroll. After some identity verification according to Professor King C's method, Zi got their mission target. It turned out that on the day when King Ji took over as the captain of the first team, on his way to the Anbu headquarters, he received an emergency contact signal from the intelligence agent Dark Crow, who was supposed to collect and deliver intelligence on the ninja world to him on a monthly basis. Dark Crow is an intelligence agent specially selected by King C from the intelligence department of the Underground Gold Exchange under his control to collect intelligence for him. The current communication methods in the ninja world are still very backward. The transmission of most messages can only rely on manpower, or large ninja villages like Konoha and Kirigakure can gather the strength of the entire village to train special communication ninja eagles. Or it could be through summoned beasts, but in the ninja world there are only a very small number of summoned beasts that have both the wisdom and strength to transmit messages through summoning and reverse summoning. When King C asked the intelligence agent Dark Crow to collect intelligence on the ninja world for him, he specifically told him that only extremely important information about the Hidden Mist Village could be used for emergency contact. Therefore, after seeing the emergency contact signal, he attached great importance to it. It just so happened that he had just taken office, so after quickly defeating and subduing the Zigwashan Puffer Ghost and Zi, he sent Zi to the capital to obtain specific information. Zi quickly browsed the information according to the code given by King C, and his expression changed drastically in an instant. The members of the second team immediately went to the Anbu's base in the capital, placed the information in a small box tied next to the eagle's claws, and then quickly released the ninja eagle to deliver the message back to the village. Hey! 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 5 consecutive clear eagle cries circled in the sky above the Hidden Mist Village. Here they come! Ching Si, who was checking the recent intelligence at the Anbu base, had an idea and rushed out of the office. Another second team leader, Blade, and the general leader, Sword, also came out. Ching Si quickly made the corresponding seal and summoned the Ninja Hawk. The Ninja Hawk swooped down and finally landed obediently on King C's outstretched arm. After taking the information, King C quickly deciphered the content according to the corresponding code, and his face became a little ugly. My lord! The 3rd Kazekage Tetsusa of the Sand Village in the Land of Wind personally led the ninja troops to invade the Land of River. The leader of the Rain Village, Hanzo of the Salamander, appeared at the critical moment and blocked the third Kazekage Tetsusa. The two fought to a draw, but according to intelligence, the third Kazekage Tetsusa was at a disadvantage and was being suppressed by Hanzo. King C opened his mouth and revealed a bombshell, which made blade and sword dizzy. The Hidden Rain Village has developed rapidly in recent years. With such a powerful leader, it has great ambitions. Ren sighed. After defeating the third Kazekage, Hanzo of the Salamander publicly declared that he would lead the Hidden Rain Village to become the sixth largest ninja village, and called out to the third Hokage of the Konoha village, Sarutobi Hiruzen, to challenge him to a battle at the Rain and Fire border on July 33, the 7th year of the Hidden Rain Village. CG continued. The small area and scarce resources of the Rain country are not enough to support the Hidden Rain Village to become the sixth largest ninja village. It seems that war is about to break out. Jian commented lightly, then turned to King C and instructed, it won't be long before Hanzo and the Hokage will fight. You should take some people to watch the battle in person and collect intelligence. We also need to decide what attitude we, the Hidden Mist Village, should take in the next war based on the intelligence. Yes. I will go and gather people and set off as soon as possible. King C accepted the task. At the same time, in the Land of Fire, Konoha village, in the Hokage building, in the office of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. What the hell is Hanzo trying to do? This is a provocation to our Konoha. Who does he think he is? A deep voice full of fierce words and anger came out. The person who was speaking had brown hair and neat sideburns. His head and right eye were wrapped in bandages, revealing only one slender eye. The most conspicuous thing was the fork-shaped scar on his chin. He was none other than Sarutobi Hiruzen's good friend, Konoha's famous martial arts faction, the future 5.5th Hokage, and the first Nabe Cage, Shimura Danzo, who was known as the Dark Ninja. Danzo, calm down. Yutane Koharu advised, Hanzo may just be showing us his strength and presence. Yes, old friend. The Rain country is such a small place. We can easily destroy them with a wave of our hands. We keep them just as a buffer between us and the Earth country and the Wind country. As long as Hanzo is not stupid, how could he have any ideas about our powerful Konoha? Mito Kato-en said confidently. You underestimate Hanzo's ambition. We should immediately send troops to the Rain country and destroy the small Hidden Rain village. Danzo's voice became louder. Danzo. You are too radical. I have made up my mind. Tell Hanzo that I will be on time for the appointment. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had just turned 40, was at the peak of his career. He was not afraid of Hanzo, who could easily force back the Kazekage. After all, he was also the strongest Hokage of Konoha village with the title of Ninjutsu Professor. Sarutobi. Danzo roared, very unhappy with his friend for not listening to his advice, you will regret this. Danzo, I am the Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had not yet degenerated into the old and weak person he was after the Third War, was now extremely powerful. Chapter 38. The next morning, King C asked Yuanshi while having breakfast, Grandpa, I will leave for the mainland soon. Hanzo of Kirigakure has challenged the Hokage. What do you think? Hanzo the Salamander, an ambitious man. The master sighed, just be careful and try to collect as much information about Konoha as possible. If a war breaks out and we participate, Konoha will definitely be our biggest target. The development of Rain country has been very fast in recent years, but as a small country, it has almost reached its limit. Hanzo wants to lead Rain country to become the sixth largest ninja village, so he must expand his territory. Rain country is adjacent to the Fire, Earth and Wind countries, so he will definitely choose at least one of them to start a war. The master continued. When he challenged the Hokage to a duel this time, he definitely intended to test his strength. He easily forced the Kazekage to retreat, which shows that his strength is far greater than the third Kazekage. If he finds out that Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength is similar to or stronger than his, then his target will definitely be the Wind country and the Sand village. If Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength is not as good as his, then it is possible that he will also attack the Fire country and Konoha. The master added. As expected of an old antique who had experienced the Warring States period and built the ninja village himself, the master's analysis hit the nail on the head. As expected, the arrogant and confident Hanzo attacked Konoha and Sunagakure at the same time. Thank you for your advice, Grandpa. I'll set off now. King C was shocked after listening to Master Yuan's analysis. Although he also guessed some of Hanzo's thoughts, they were not as thorough as Master Yuan's. After bidding farewell to the master, Kingxi came to the first training ground of the Anbu headquarters, where Yagura, Chinano, and others were already waiting for him. Captain! Everyone saluted together. Gather at Channel 1 in 10 minutes and get ready to go. Kingxi said to everyone, then went straight to Jian's office. Captain, we are ready to set off now. Do you have any other instructions? Kingxi asked. Lord Mizukage has given you an additional secret mission. This is the mission scroll. Jian handed a sealed mission scroll to Kingxi. Open it after watching the battle. Jian added. Yes. Kingxi responded respectfully and turned to leave. Although he was a little curious about the secret mission, he abided by the rules of being an Anbu very well. At Channel 1, everyone had already assembled. Following Kingxi's command, the sounds of people breaking through the air were heard one after another. Because this mission was not a combat mission, Kyoji not only called on Yagura and Chinano, but also brought 4 newcomers, Kurisan Kushimaru, Mori Shinpeki, Biwajozo, and Ao, to see the world together. Who is this Qing? He is the one who will later be known as the Byakugan killer. Now he is the last member of Yagura's 6th team. Qing, who has the ability to perceive, is a talent discovered by Master Yuan, and was specially requested by Kingxi from his grandfather Master Yuan to supplement Yagura's 6th team. Name, Qing. Age, 15, born on February 18, 8 in Kirigakure. Height, 180 cm. Weight, XNUMX kg. Ninja registration number, 003800. Ninja level, Special Jonin, Chakra 1.8 calories. Mission experience, D level 54 times, C level 38 times, B level 20 times, A level 10 times, S level 3 times. Chakra attributes, Water, Yin. Mastering Ninjutsu, Water Style Ninjutsu 18, Yin Style Ninjutsu 3. A group of 7 people boarded a merchant ship bound for the Fire Nation. Since they were going to watch the war, and the relationship between the water and fire countries was not tense at the moment, they did not need to hide their identities and could go openly. Half a month passed quickly, and soon it was July 7th, the day when Hanzo of the Salamander and Hiruzen Sarutobi had their scheduled battle. At the border between the Rain Country and the Fire Country, a large number of ninjas have already gathered here. These ninjas were all sent by various forces to observe the battle and collect intelligence. A strong chakra aura came from the direction of the Rain Country, and in the distance, a tall figure wearing a dark blue cloak, a breathing mask, and a giant short-handled sickle with a chain on his back was slowly walking towards them. It was Hanzo Salamander, the leader of the Rain Village. Haha! Leader Hanzo is quite confident in his own strength, and he actually comes here alone. Someone among the spectators laughed. At this time, from the direction of the Land of Fire, the 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, wearing a Hokage robe and a Hokage hat, also slowly walked over with his 2 friends Utane Koharu and Mito Kato-en, as well as 2 teams of Anbu protecting them. Feeling Hanzo's rising domineering aura, Sarutobi Hiruzen was not to be outdone, and an equally powerful chakra aura burst out from him. The chakra auras of the 2 rushed towards each other and collided violently in mid-air. The battle broke out in an instant. Sarutobi Hiruzen formed a seal with one hand, summoned a huge shuriken, and threw it towards Hanzo with force. Ninja technique, Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. The huge shurikens flew towards Hanzo at a high speed, and white smoke continued to emerge during the flight. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 8, and countless huge shurikens covered the sky. On the side of the salamander Hanzo, when he saw Sarutobi Hiruzen taking action, he decisively increased his speed, picked up the sickle behind him with his right hand, and kept spinning the chain with his left hand, and rushed towards the dense group of shurikens. Chapter 39. Hanzo kept swinging the chain in his left hand, making the defense around him impenetrable. The attacking huge shurikens were continuously knocked to the ground and scattered into a pile of fragments. Hanzo's chakra gradually began to boil while he was running, and the chakra in his body continued to gather towards his right hand. Then a huge chakra blade energy slashed heavily in the direction of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Swordsmanship, breaking through the air with a sword. The surging sword energy instantly broke through the dense group of shurikens and slashed towards Sarutobi Hiruzen without any loss of momentum. Sarutobi Hiruzen was not panicked at all. Now was still the stage of testing each other. After all, which ninja would start with a big move right away? Standing still, Sarutobi Hiruzen calmly began to make hand seals. The 3 hand seals were completed in an instant. Si Haisu. 2 done 2 Liubi. Sarutobi Hiruzen opened his mouth and spat out a ball of soil that was transformed from earth attribute chakra. Then it quickly turned into a brown earth wall that blocked his way. Boom! The sword energy arrived in an instant and slashed at the earth wall. After a moment of stalemate, the earth wall was shattered, but the power contained in the sword energy was almost exhausted. Hanzo, who had used his sword energy to clear the way, also came to Sarutobi Hiruzen at this time, picked up the sickle in his hand and slashed at Sarutobi Hiruzen's neck fiercely. Sarutobi Hiruzen ducked to avoid the attack, and then used a sweeping kick to attack Hanzo's lower body. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen suffered from the disadvantage of having no weapon, and could only hold a kunao to face Hanzo's sickle and resist it. After several fights, Sarutobi Hiruzen's Hokage robe was cut several times. Under Hanzo's pressure, Sarutobi Hiruzen tried to cast a seal several times but to no avail. Finally, he had no choice but to expose a flaw to Hanzo, used Earth Escape to harden his body, took Hanzo's slash, and used the force to retreat quickly. The people watching the fight were talking about it. Although both sides were just testing each other and had not yet shown their true strength, Hanzo's nonchalance and Sarutobi Hiruzen's rather embarrassed appearance still made everyone shocked by Hanzo's powerful strength. Having escaped from Hanzo's sickle attack range, Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly took off his Hokage robe, revealing a tight black combat suit underneath. The combat suit's shoulders were equipped with silver protective gear with the word fire engraved on the back, and the back was equipped with 2 vertical ninja tool bags. The waist was tied with a purple silk ribbon, and the arms and calves were equipped with mesh wrist guards, and the right arm was equipped with green layered armor. Then he slowly took off the Hokage hat on his head, revealing the ninja hat with green laminated armor on both sides. At this time, a gust of wind blew, and the 2 super long straps behind the hat also fluttered in the wind. Sarutobi Hiruzen said to Hanzo calmly, "There is no point in boring mutual testing. Show your true strength, Hanzo." After the fight just now, Hanzo had some idea of Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength. Well, the second round begins. As Hanzo finished his words, the ninjutsu he had prepared in his hand was also sealed. Water release exploding water wave. He's so powerful that he can use water escape on such a large scale in a place without water. Someone among the spectators exclaimed. The simple B-level ninjutsu was used with the effect of A level in Hanzo's hands, and the surging water waves rushed towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Seeing the range of the jutsu was so large, Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that he could no longer hide, so he decisively stayed where he was and began to make hand seals. Earth Escape, Earth Current City Wall. As an upgraded version of the Earth Flow Wall, it normally requires several Earth-style ninjas to work together to use it, but Sarutobi Hiruzen used it easily alone, and he lived up to his title of ninjutsu professor. The earthen wall rose up from the ground like a castle wall, standing firmly on the ground without being washed away, forcing the water to bypass it. Hanzo looked up and saw Sarutobi Hiruzen standing on it. Fire Escape, the art of fierce flames. Sarutobi Hiruzen was in a high position and used the secret fire-style ninjutsu passed down from generation to generation by the Sarutobi clan. The fierce high-temperature flames quickly fell towards Hanzo. Hanzo, who had already created a suitable combat environment, did not want to confront the enemy. He put one hand in front of his chest, burst out with chakra, and then disappeared on the spot. Water Escape Water Instant. Seeing Hanzo's instantaneous escape, Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled. It turned out that when he used the earth flow wall to block the attack, Hanzo's vision was also blocked. Sarutobi Hiruzen took the opportunity to create 2 shadow clones and hid underground using earth escape. Hanzo dodged instantly and just stood still when one of Sarutobi Hiruzen's shadow clones appeared behind him and attacked Hanzo in the face. Thunder Escape Pseudo Darkness. A sharp spear of lightning was fired from the shadow clone's mouth and pierced through Hanzo. Hanzo felt the intense chakra fluctuations coming from behind and quickly dodged, but was still hit on the left arm by Sudoan. Although he was not injured, the numbness from the lightning still slowed down Hanzo's movements. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had succeeded in one strike, was ready to make another attack. Another shadow clone that had just hidden appeared beside him and began to form hand seals at the same time as him. Chapter 40. Water Release, Water Dragon Bullet Technique. With the help of the water left by Hanzo's water escape just now, Sarutobi Hiruzen easily used the water dragon bullet without spending much chakra. At the same time, his shadow clone also completed the hand seal and injected a large amount of lightning chakra gathered in his hands into the water dragon. Combined ninjutsu thunder water dragon bullet. A ferocious water dragon with dazzling electric light wrapped around its body rushed towards Hanzo, who had not yet recovered from his stiff state, under the control of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Oh! There was a loud bang, and Hanzo was hit hard by the thunder water dragon bomb. The smoke dissipated, and only the crackling electric current remained. Hanzo's figure had disappeared. Water clone? When? Sarutobi Hiruzen felt something was wrong. Hanzo's real body suddenly rushed out and appeared in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen in an instant, sweeping a sickle heavily at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen hurriedly dodged, but Hanzo had already predicted his prediction. He immediately retracted his strength and raised his leg to kick him with a lightning-fast movement. This time, Sarutobi Hiruzen had no time to dodge and was hit hard. He flew backwards and spat out blood in the air. Hiruzen! Seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen injured, Yutane Koharu shouted anxiously. Hokage-sama! A group of Anbu ninjas also started to stir, preparing to go forward to stop Hanzo and rescue Sarutobi Hiruzen. In the end, it was the calmer Mizuto Kato-en who stopped the others and said, "Have confidence in Hiruzen. After all, he is the third Hokage." Mizuto Kato-en's tone was full of confidence in Sarutobi Hiruzen's strength. Sarutobi Hiruzen adjusted his posture in the air, wiped the blood from his mouth with his hand, and formed a seal after landing. Hanzo saw Sarutobi Hiruzen's action and knew that he was going to summon a spirit beast, so he also began to form a seal. Hai Suyu Shenwei, they both formed seals at the same time and slapped their hands hard on the ground. Psychic magic! Come out, Monkey King, Monkey Demon! Psychic technique! Ibu! The thick smoke produced by the summoning of the summoned beast dissipated, and a tall old monkey wearing a Konoha forehead protector appeared next to Sarutobi Hiruzen, while a huge salamander appeared under Hanzo. The old monkey crossed his arms in front of his chest, looked at the salamander Ibushi standing opposite him and the salamander Hanzo standing above him, and whispered, "Hanzo of Omegakure? Sarutobi, what a troublesome opponent! Yes, Hanzo is really strong. Let him transform into the Ruyi Jinggubang and use the Vatra Ruyi." Sarutobi Hiruzen replied. Understand. Change. A cloud of thick smoke appeared as the old ape spoke, and then a thick golden hoop broke through the smoke. Sarutobi Hiruzen caught the golden cudgel with both hands, tucked it under his armpit, and said, "Go, Sarutobi. Buy enough distance for me. Stretch it out." The golden cudgel changed rapidly, continuously extending, and fiercely stabbed the salamander under Hanzo's feet. The huge force pushed the salamander back continuously, and in the blink of an eye, it was pushed more than 100 meters away. Finally, there is enough distance. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought, then let go of the golden cudgel and let Enma stand aside, and began to form seals quickly with his hands. The ninjutsu turret is about to show its power. Earth Escape Yellow Spring Marsh. Sarutobi Hiruzen started with a powerful B-level Earth Escape technique. The ground under the feet of the salamander quickly softened under the effect of the ninjutsu, turning into loose soil and then forming a huge swamp. Great, this will trap it. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought to himself, then the next move is this. Fire release, Fire Dragon Flame Bullet. The fire dragon carried a blazing flame, which quickly evaporated the water in the soil, turning it into a solid state similar to cement, locking the salamander firmly in place and making it unable to move. Seeing that the ninjutsu was effective, Sarutobi Hiruzen continued to make hand seals. Fire release, Phoenix Immortal Fire Technique. After temporarily eliminating the threat of the salamander, Sarutobi Hiruzen aimed his attack at Hanzo who was above him. Countless fireballs the size of a human head flew quickly towards Hanzo's position. Although C-level Fengxian fire exerted the power of B-level close to A-level ninjutsu in Sarutobi Hiruzen, it did not pose much threat to Hanzo. After all, it is common sense in the ninja world that fire escape can't burn people to death. Hanzo swung out the sickle, exploding the fireballs one by one in the air, and then was about to pull the chain to get the sickle back in his hand, but at this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen's next round of attack arrived. Rat Josu Horse Shen Hai Yin, Fire Style, Great Fire Annihilation. The Phoenix Fire technique just now was only used to contain Hanzo's feint attack. This A-level fire technique from the Uchiha clan is the real killer move. The arrow-shaped flames were like an arrow shot from a bow, heading straight for Hanzo. Facing such a powerful fire escape, Hanzo could already feel the extreme heat before he even got close. His face changed and he shouted, "Ambush! Drill into the ground!" After receiving Hanzo's order, the salamander Ibushi burst out with huge chakra and began to struggle. After breaking free from the restraints, he immediately burrowed into the ground and disappeared. At the same time, Hanzo used both hands to throw the chain and sickle high into the sky, and quickly formed a seal to prepare for defense. Water escape water formation wall. A large amount of water gathered in front of Hanzo, forming an extremely large water curtain. Sarutobi Hiruzen's great fire annihilation hit the wall of the water array heavily, and then quickly spread into a sea of fire. The fire escape continued to evaporate the wall of the water array, making bursts of roars. A large amount of water vapor diffused, and thick white smoke began to fill the entire battlefield. The third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is set to use all the ninjutsu of Konoha, so in theory he should be able to use this A-level fire ninjutsu of Uchiha. Chapter 41. The smoke gradually dissipated, and the spectators looked towards the battlefield, only to find that Hanzo and Salamander had long disappeared from the field. Only Kiyoshi, relying on his strong perception, looked calmly behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. Boom! With a loud bang, the ground behind Sarutobi Hiruzen cracked, and the figure of Salamander Ibushi appeared. He opened his mouth wide at Sarutobi Hiruzen, and purple-black poisonous smoke quickly spread out. Wind style, cyclone. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought to himself that something was not good, and quickly formed a seal and blew out a fierce gust of wind from his mouth. Although it was just a simple sea-level wind escape, its advantage was that it was activated quickly, and Sarutobi Hiruzen's purpose was only to blow away the poisonous smoke quickly. Hanzo also took this opportunity to kill Sarutobi Hiruzen. You know, Hanzo is not afraid of the poison of the salamander. When Hanzo was young, there was a highly poisonous black salamander in the Hidden Rain village. After the poisonous black salamander died, its poison sac was implanted into Hanzo's body by the Hidden Rain village ninjas as a test subject for some kind of experiment. As a result, Hanzo became resistant to poison. At the same time, every breath he took was accompanied by a huge amount of poison gas, which is why Hanzo wears a breathing mask all year round. While Sarutobi Hiruzen was blowing away the poisonous smoke, Hanzo quickly approached Sarutobi Hiruzen under the cover of the poisonous smoke. But due to carelessness, or it could be said that Hanzo had no experience fighting against humanoid summoning beasts, he forgot and overlooked that next to Sarutobi Hiruzen there was a magic cudgel with independent consciousness that could transform him back into an old ape at any time. Ninja technique, Diamond Prison Wall. Hanzo was caught off guard and was held firmly in place by the old ape. "I got you!" the Sarutobi shouted. Sarutobi. Shadow Clone Technique. Sarutobi Hiruzen put his index and middle fingers together, one horizontal and one vertical, to form a cross. A puff of white smoke appeared, and Sarutobi Hiruzen summoned 4 shadow clones. As soon as the shadow clones appeared, they quickly dispersed in all directions. Sarutobi Hiruzen's body and the 4 shadow clones spread out from each other and surrounded Hanzo, who was controlled by the diamond prison wall in 5 different directions. Sarutobi Hiruzen and his 4 shadow clones began to form hand seals in sync. Feeling Sarutobi Hiruzen's violently fluctuating chakra aura, Hanzo, sensing something was wrong, also began to burst out his own chakra in an attempt to escape. But this is a cage that was conjured up by the Monkey King, a summoned beast who is also at the level of cage and has an indestructible body, using his own body through ninjutsu. How could it be possible to break free so easily? Fire release Fire Dragon Bullet. Thunder release Thunder Dragon Bullet. Water release Water Dragon Bullet. Earth release Earth Dragon Bullet. Wind style, Wind Dragon Bullet. Sarutobi Hiruzen and his shadow clones used ninjutsu of 5 different attributes, namely fire, lightning, water, earth, and wind, to attack Hanzo, who was trapped in the center and unable to move from 5 directions at the same time. At this time, Hanzo, who was firmly restrained and unable to move, became the best target for Sarutobi Hiruzen, and there was no possibility of hitting the target wrong. 5 escapes, the technique of large continuous bullets. At the last second before the attack arrived, Sarutobi Hiruzen took the initiative to cancel the summoning technique and sent the Inma back. 5 B-level ninjutsu of different attributes were combined together, interacting and destroying each other, bursting out with power comparable to S-level ninjutsu or even S-level forbidden techniques, and finally produced a devastating explosion at Hanzo's location. The deafening explosion deeply shocked everyone present. No one expected that the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen's seemingly thin body could burst out such a powerful attack. If he gets hit, there will be no trace left. Everyone watching the fight was shocked. I finally got to see the ultimate secret of the Sarutobi clan, the 5 styles, Great Connection Danjutsu today. It was really worth the trip. Kiyoshi, who had only seen the Great Connection Danjutsu of the previous chief of the Sarutobi clan, Sarutobi Suzuki, in his memory, finally witnessed this shocking scene with his own eyes today. The smoke and dust gradually dissipated, revealing the ground plowed by the Dalian bullet technique. The center of the attack sank down by about 20 meters. Hanzo wasn't really killed, was he? Asked Awake Kushimaru, who came to watch the fight with Seiji, his tone full of admiration and fear at the power of ninjutsu. Ching's eye smiled but said nothing. He shook his head and looked at Ching, who was also shocked, and said, "Ching, what do you think?" Ching came back to his senses when he heard his superior's question. Out of caution, he did not answer immediately. Instead, he made seals with his hands, closed his eyes, and continuously extended his perception towards the battlefield. After a while, Ching's eyes suddenly widened. This. He was so surprised that he couldn't utter a complete sentence for a long time. Haha. Kingxi smiled and explained to the 4 newcomers, Kurasan Kushimaru, Mori Shinpeki, Biwajozo, and Ching, Hanzo is now one of the strongest ninjas of this era. How could he be killed so easily? Don't underestimate a ninja who can become the leader of a village, even if he doesn't have the title of Kage now. Kingxi, who has a strong perception ability, can clearly sense that although Hanzo's aura has changed, it is only because the battle consumed some chakra, causing the aura to decrease slightly, and the magnitude is not large. Looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen again, his aura had begun to decline drastically after using his ultimate move. Although the perception was still not very clear, it was obvious that Sarutobi Hiruzen's chakra had been consumed by at least half. Under such an obvious contrast, the difference between Hanzo of the Salamander and Hiruzen Sarutobi is obvious to Kingxi. In his memory, he had a clear impression of the strength of the strong men of each era over the past 1,000 years. Combined with his perception just now, Kingxi could easily judge Hanzo's strength level. At this time, Hanzo had an extremely firm belief in the way of ninja. The combination of ninja and samurai made Hanzo's strength infinitely close to the limit of the Kage level. The original work describes Hanzo too little, only giving him the title of demigod, and introducing that he was regarded as the pinnacle of the ninja world by ninjas during his lifetime. As for why Hanzo was so lame in the later period, and after being reborn with the impure world reincarnation, he did not have any achievements under the blessing of the immortal body, and did not show the style of a demigod at all, the official explanation is that one is because of his age and his declining strength after his peak period, and the other most important thing is that Hanzo lost his belief as a hero of the Rain Village and no longer adhered to his ninja way, which also caused his strength to decline significantly. The rules of the battlefield are to never underestimate any ninja. When you are not sure that you have killed the opponent, never let your guard down. This is the first lesson I will teach you as your squad leader. Kingxi continued to teach several newcomers. As Kiyoshi spoke, Hanzo appeared silently in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Seeing Hanzo, who seemed unharmed, Sarutobi Hiruzen and the other ninjas watching the battle except the ones from Kirigakure all had their pupils shrink drastically. Some of the ninjas watching the fight thought that Hanzo could survive such a powerful ninjutsu, but he would most likely be seriously injured. After all, if they were to face this move with their strength, they would probably be reduced to ashes. However, no one except Kiyoshi and the people of Kirigakure who were taught by Kiyoshi could have imagined that Hanzo would appear intact. Time goes back to just now. Sarutobi Hiruzen's ultimate Great Chain Bullet technique was already within reach, and Hanzo, who was unleashing his chakra at full strength, suddenly discovered that the diamond prison wall that had imprisoned him had disappeared. Overjoyed, Hanzo seized this 1,000th of a second opportunity, formed a seal with one hand, and immediately activated the instant body technique, and disappeared the moment the ninjutsu had brushed the corner of his clothes. Chapter 42. But it is not entirely true to say that Hanzo was not injured. Although he narrowly escaped the range of the ninjutsu, it was a combination ninjutsu of S-level power after all. Even if he was just a little bit affected by the explosion, he still injured Hanzo. Although there was no visible sign of injury on the outside, and the ninja's perception showed nothing unusual, Hanzo could clearly feel that his internal organs were dislocated and slightly broken. Resisting the urge to spit out a mouthful of blood, Hanzo said to Sarutobi Hiruzen calmly, as expected of a famous ninjutsu professor in the ninja world, "You can easily combine 5 attribute ninjutsu to launch an attack. Your Hokage is indeed very powerful. Let's call it a day today. We are even. The sinister Hanzo pretended to be unhurt and calm, but his family members knew their own business. Hanzo, who had suffered serious internal injuries, was eager to end the battle. Hanzo really underestimated his enemy this time. Relying on his own strength and the power of defeating the third Kazekage, Hanzo was so proud that he came to the meeting alone. He was really afraid that the people of Konoha would tear their faces apart and keep him here forever after discovering that he was injured. Sarutobi Hiruzen had no idea of what was going on in Hanzo's mind. He was shocked that Hanzo was able to escape unscathed from his large continuous bullets. Therefore, he, who also did not want to continue fighting to the death with Hanzo, started to flatter Hanzo. Mr. Hanzo, you are too kind. In the end, you are the better one. I have had the honor of seeing Lord Hashirama in action. Although your strength is not enough to compete with the god of ninja, you should be the strongest in this era. In my opinion, you can be called a demigod. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally revealed his true colors at the end of his words. He was at a disadvantage in the fight with Hanzo, which was extremely detrimental to his reputation. The third Hokage of Konoha, the strongest ninja village in the ninja world, was actually unable to defeat the leader of a small rain village. This is truly a joke in the ninja world. Therefore, his idea was to raise Hanzo's status in the ninja world as much as possible. After all, the leader of the hidden rain village and the strongest in the current ninja world are not the same concept. And no matter whether Hanzo is the strongest in the ninja world now, Sarutobi Hiruzen will put Hanzo on the throne of the strongest in the ninja world today. No matter who comes to brag about Hanzo, Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely help. Hanzo did not hear Sarutobi Hiruzen's little thoughts, but at this time he was almost unable to suppress his injuries. Without responding to Sarutobi Hiruzen, Hanzo decided to evacuate first and turned around and slowly left. Hanzo, who has defeated the Kazekage and the Naruto Kage consecutively, is now confident that he is the most powerful ninja in the entire ninja world. Although he has never fought against the Tsutsuki, the Reikage, and the Mizu Kage, Hanzo thinks that the strength of the cages of the 5 major ninja villages should not be much different from each other. Therefore, he gladly accepted the title of demigod and went further and further on the path of self-inflation. However, Hanzo, who was born in a small country like the Land of Rain, still had a slightly inferior vision. At least CG knew clearly that there was still a big gap in strength between the 5 Kage. The third Kazekage, who is known as the strongest Kazekage, can be said to be the weakest among the 5 currently in power. He only relies on his magnetic release Kekii Genkai. As for why he can be called the strongest Kazekage? Although the first Kazekage Reto pacified the chaos in the Land of Wind and founded the Sand Village, he did not have a bloodline limit, and it was with the assistance of a large number of ninjas from the Sand Village that he was able to capture the one-tailed Shikaku. Let's look at the second Kazekage shaman. Without saying anything else, just one thing is enough. His main job is a puppeteer, and puppeteers are recognized by the ninja world as the hardest to produce top-level masters. Although Shaman developed the sand manipulation technique from the one-tailed Shikaku, his strength is still limited after all, and he is just a stronger Kage. The third Kazekage, Tessa, possesses the Kekii Genkai of magnet style, and he inherited and combined the sand manipulation technique developed by the second Kazekage, Shaman, into his own unique magnet style sand and iron. He also possesses the ability to suppress the runaway one-tail Shikaku alone in the vast desert. It is no wonder that he is called the strongest Kazekage by the Sand Village ninjas. However, in King C's opinion, the third Kazekage is indeed stronger than the first and second Kazekage in terms of strength, but he is slightly inferior to the third Kazekage of the same generation in other villages. The third Tsutsuki, Noki of the 2 heavenly scales, was the grandson of the first Tsutsuki Ishikawa, and a disciple of the second Tsutsuki Mu. In addition to his mastery of earth escape, he also inherited a bloodline elimination technique called dust release that was undeveloped and could decompose the enemy into molecules, which was superior to his bloodline limit. He was also one of the few ninjas in the ninja world who could fly. The third Reikage AI is able to use the Hell Stab, which is known as the strongest spear, and the lightning release armor, which is known as the strongest shield. He can evenly fight against the 8-tailed Jioki alone, and has a record of suppressing the runaway 8-tailed on his own. As for his own third Mizu Kage Bing, Kingxi, as a member of the Anbu, has seen him more than once. In Kingxi's perception, although Bing's fighting power has begun to decline due to his age, his chakra aura is still extremely terrifying, comparable to Sarutobi Hiruzen who he just met. Moreover, as the guard of the first Mizukage Byakuren and one of the founders of the Hidden Mist Village, Bing is a master of water escape and ice escape, and his strength is at least at the same level as the third Kazekage. Therefore, in Kingji's opinion, the ranking among the 5 shadows should be the third Raikage greater than or equal to the third Tsuchikage, the third Hokage greater than or equal to the third Mizukage, the third Kazekage. The third Tsuchikage Onoki's dust release was invincible, and basically anyone hit by it would die, but he couldn't hit the extremely fast third Raikage AI, so I think the third Raikage is the strongest third Kage, and even in this era before the emergence of cheats, he can be called the strongest in the ninja world. As for the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, the so-called strongest Hokage, this is purely the fault of Kishimoto's confusing settings in the later period, but I think he does have that skill, and can be called a strong man, but in the absence of any particularly outstanding record, this is the only way to rank them. Also, the third Tsuchikage is called Noki of the Two Heavens Scale. The Two Heavens Scale is just a title. It is a compliment given to Noki by the people of Iwagakure village. It is a compliment to him for being very shrewd in handling village affairs and for being able to secure the greatest interests for Iwagakure village in diplomacy. It is not his last name. Seeing the battle over and Hanzo leaving, the ninjas from various countries who came to watch the battle also gradually began to disperse, and the name of the newly crowned strongest in the ninja world demigod Salamander Hanzo spread to every corner of the ninja world. King C then used the Anbu's unique method of unsealing the mission scroll that Jian had given him when he left. After quickly browsing through the special mission assigned by the third Mizukage, King C ordered everyone, Hana, you lead the team and take them back along the original route. Mizukage-sama has another mission for me. I will catch up with you as soon as possible after completing the mission. Hi. Everyone responded and left under the leadership of Hwa. Seeing that everyone had left, King C touched the ground with 2 fingers, and his chakra perception began to spread wildly in all directions. Suddenly, King C's eyes lit up, and he sensed that in the direction of the Grass Kingdom in the north, several extremely conspicuous chakra auras were leaving at a very fast speed. The amount of chakra in one of the auras was extremely huge, dozens of times more than his. This was the person with the most chakra that King C had ever sensed. King C guessed that the people from Kumigakure would not be bold enough to cross the land of fire, and knew that he must have found the right person. He continued to sense the movements of the other party, then burst out chakra and used the instant body technique to chase after the other party. At the same time, among the Kumigakure group who were on their way back, an Anbu suddenly spoke up, Lord Fu Shenji, someone just sensed us, but I couldn't sense the other party. It's okay. Slow down and see what the other party's intention is. Our lineup is not afraid of anyone. Fu Shenji replied calmly, and then commanded the Union people to gradually slow down and wait for King C's arrival. Who is this Fu Shenji? He has another name called Bulabai. He is the B in the 3rd generation of combination of the Hidden Cloud Village. He is also the brother of the 3rd generation Raikage AI, and the first 8 tails Jinchuriki of the Hidden Cloud Village. There are 4 8 tails Jinchuriki in total. The last one is Killer B, who is familiar to everyone. The one before him is Fukai, the one with half white and half green hair. The one before that is his uncle. The first one is his father Fusho, and Fukai later inherited the name of Bulabai. King C sensed that the other party's group was gradually slowing down, and knew that they had also discovered him. He secretly thought that Union also had capable people, and then he quickened his pace further, thinking that he could complete the task as soon as possible so that he could reunite with his subordinates and return to the village quickly. After being out for so long, he felt a little homesick. Here they come. The one with perception ability from the Kumigakure Enbyo shouted. As soon as he finished speaking, King C's figure appeared in their sight. When King C saw Fushinji, he also recognized him, and at the same time, he understood that it was no wonder that his chakra was so huge. It turned out that he had become a Jinkriki. King C, who had the chakra aura of the 9-tailed beasts in his memory, easily recognized the aura of the 8 tails when he saw Fushinji, the Jinkriki of the 8 tails, face to face. Hello, Lord Bai. I am here to deliver a letter to Lord Raikage on the orders of Lord Mizukage. King C said, handing the mission scroll to Fu Shenji. This mission scroll was specially made by the 3rd Mizukage using his ice-style chakra. After King C read it, the part that issued the mission automatically disappeared, leaving only the part written to the 3rd Raikage. Chapter 43. I see. I'll tell my brother after we return to the village. Fu Shenji took the scroll, without checking or opening it, without any trial or doubt about the authenticity of King C's identity. he put the scroll into his ninja tool bag, reflecting his confidence in his own powerful lineup and strength. In that case, I'll take my leave. Kingxi didn't care. As long as he could complete the task successfully, he certainly wouldn't have any extra thoughts, so he said goodbye to the people from Yunyan. Having completed the secret mission without any problems, Kiyoshi, who was eager to return home, quickly chased in the direction his subordinates had left. It wasn't long before he caught up with Chinano, Yagura, and the others. However, those people, who had no idea that Kiyoshi had completed the mission and returned, were still talking nonsense. Just as Kingxi, who had caught up with everyone quietly, was about to show up, he heard Mori Jinpachi curiously ask Yagura, "Captain Jing, have you ever sparred with the squad leader? How strong is he?" So he gave up the idea of showing up immediately and prepared to listen to what Yagura had to say. "Hey, even though Gu was the captain of our 6th team, my strength is no less than his. The several fights between us ended in a draw," Yagura boasted shamelessly. Then why was Bones the original captain of the 6th team, and why did he even become the captain of the 1st team later? Ching on the side said calmly. As an elite ninja personally requested by Ching Si, he knew clearly the true identity and approximate strength of Bones, or Ching Si. "Yes, it's indeed a draw, but we were 2 against 1, and who knows if the captain was letting us win. There were several times when he even didn't use the corpse bone vein." Chino also launched a venomous attack on Yagura. The squad leaders of the Anbu are at least elite jonin, so they definitely didn't let anyone off. But I'm afraid they let a lot of people off. Biwajozo and Kurishan Kushimaru joked. "Hana! How can you slander someone's innocence like this?" Yagura blushed, and then said, 2 against 1 is still a draw. How can a competition between teammates be a letdown? Then came a series of obscure words, and for a moment the audience was filled with a happy atmosphere. The group got really close to each other during this mission, which lasted nearly a month. Although the difference in status between superiors and subordinates in the Anbu was still very obvious, Yagura still had the mentality of a young man. In addition, Kurasai Kushimaru, Mori Shinpeki, Biwajozo, and Ao were all extremely talented, so Yagura did not take everyone's teasing to heart. Kingxi, who was eavesdropping on the side, couldn't help laughing. Then he quietly appeared at the end of the team and said to Yagura faintly, "Jing, I will meet your request. I will have another sparring match with you after returning to the village." Hearing Kingxi suddenly speak, Yagura was startled and stumbled. Oh no, this was an overboasting and he was caught by the person involved. "Sir! You're back!" Several people who heard Kingxi's voice spoke respectfully. Ching Si nodded to signal to the others, then asked Ching and the other 4, "You guys watched the entire battle just now. Tell me what you think." The title of demigod is very appropriate for Salamander Hanzo. Although the final result was a draw between Hanzo and the Hokage, I think Hanzo actually won. He was just afraid that after defeating the Naruto, he would be forced to stay by the angry Konoha ninjas. Biwajozo spoke first and expressed his guesses and opinions. "I agree." Kurishan Kushimaru said concisely. "Me too." Mori Jinpachi followed. "Yes, Hanzo did win. I can clearly sense that Hanzo's aura after the battle did not decline as drastically as Naruto's, and he was able to remain unscathed under such a terrifying ninjutsu." Ching, the only one among the few who had the ability to perceive, added. "It's true that Hanzo won, but he was not uninjured." Ching Si corrected Ching's statement, "Ching, your perception ability has great potential for development, but it still needs to be strengthened. Hanzo was actually injured, and the injury was not light. Although you can't see it from the outside, and Hanzo's chakra aura hasn't declined too obviously, but I can sense that his life breath is fluctuating. Hanzo is forcibly using his huge chakra to suppress his injuries, in order to deceive all the ninjas with perception abilities present." Kingxi continued to explain to the few people. In fact, Kingji didn't notice it at first, but after the battle, Hanzo's remarks that were obviously inconsistent with his character aroused a hint of suspicion in Kingji. So Kingxi carefully sensed Hanzo's condition again and discovered the clue. Hanzo's strength is indeed very strong, and is close to the limit of the cage level, but to say that he is the strongest in the ninja world is not entirely true. Let's not talk about others, at least our Mizu cage is not much inferior to Hanzo. Although there is a suspicion of beautifying his own cage, and his own cage is not as strong as Hanzo in terms of hard power, but Cg, who has seen the third Mizu cage take action in the First Ninja World War in his memory, does think that he can compete with the current Hanzo. Hanzo is a cage-level warrior who is proficient in water jutsu, fire jutsu and swordsmanship, but the ice jutsu that was developed to the extreme by the third Mizukage can just restrain most of Hanzo's abilities. Therefore, although Kingji believes that the strength of his Mizukage Bing is not much different from that of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, under the attribute restraint, he is definitely able to compete with Hanzo. Chapter 44. Hanzo's ability is actually more suitable for use on the battlefield. His summoned beast, the salamander, is huge in size and extremely poisonous, so it can be fully utilized on a battlefield with a large number of people. Although it is unlikely that we, the Hidden Mist Village, will face off against the Hidden Rain Village in the future, you still need to understand this knowledge. Kingxi continued to explain to the few people. Several people nodded to show that they accepted Kingxi's teachings. Along the way, Kingxi taught the newcomers various knowledge. After all, these were his most promising subordinates. Soon, the group arrived at the coast of the Fire Kingdom, boarded the ship back to the Water Kingdom, and embarked on the journey back to the village. Here we need to explain why Cg and his group dared to cross the Fire Country while the people of the Hidden Cloud Village did not. That is because the hatred between the Hidden Kirigakure and Konoha is not that great at present. Although the Hidden Kirigakure attacked Konoha during the First World War, it eventually fought a fierce battle with the Hidden Uegakure, and even the second-generation Kage of both sides were killed. On the other hand, Kumigakure attacked Konoha several times, and Kinkaku and Ginkaku even launched a rebellion during the signing of the Peace Alliance Agreement, killing the second Hokage. Although the second Raikage of Kumigakure is also gone, this hatred must be attributed to Kumigakure. In addition, there is an 8 Tails Jinchuriki in their team, so the Kumigakure group definitely dare not return to the Land of Lightning via the Fire Country. When Kingxi entered the room, his thoughts began to wander, and the content of the letter written by the third Mizukage to the third Raikage emerged in his mind. The Land of Whirlpools, the Uzumaki clan, they are probably distant relatives. Kingxi sighed, it seems that the target is the sealing technique. Yes, I remember my grandfather once said that the Hidden Mist Village controls 2-tailed beasts. Although I don't know which 2 they are, I haven't heard of anyone in the village becoming a Jinchuriki. Although it may be because I don't have enough authority, I have indeed never felt the breath of any tailed beast in the village. What Kingji didn't know was that the Hidden Mist Village purchased 2-tailed beasts from Konoha during the first 5-Kage summit, namely the 3-tailed and the 6-tailed. At present, both of them have Jinchuriki, but it is obvious that the experiment of Jinchuriki in the Hidden Mist Village was not successful. It is true that the Hidden Mist Village's research on sealing techniques is too poor. It cannot be said that it is behind other ninja villages, but it really has no foundation at all. The Jinchuriki with the tailed beast sealed in his body cannot use the power of the tailed beast to attack. Not only that, he often loses himself in the hatred brought by the tailed beast and goes berserk. Therefore, the 3 Tails Jinchuriki and the 6 Tails Jinchuriki were arranged to live outside the village respectively, and a large number of Anbu guarded them all year round. The second and third teams of the Anbu each had 3 teams stationed at the Jinchuriki's residence all year round. This is also the reason why Kingxi never sensed the breath of the tailed beast in the Hidden Mist Village. Therefore, it is no wonder that the third Mizukage set his sights on the Uzumaki clan. After all, the Uzumaki clan not only has the best sealing skills in the ninja world and can restrain the tailed beasts, but they are also the best container for the tailed beasts. It is necessary to plan carefully. Although I haven't got it yet, the 10 tails will eventually belong to me. Kyoshi has not forgotten that his ultimate goal is to evolve into a genuine Otsutsuki. Although he is still in a state of poor development, after all, the strength of an elite jonin or even a Kage is not enough. You see, the third Raikage, who is arguably the most powerful and has both offensive and defensive capabilities among the Kage level, was killed by the Uegakure village using human wave tactics. Only with super Kage level strength can one be sure to achieve the goal, and according to Kingxi's plan, the Hidden Mist Village will inevitably face other ninja villages in the future. If he can get some of the Uzumaki clan that are not deeply involved with Konoha village to join the Hidden Mist Village, it will be of great help to his subsequent plans. It seems that I have to discuss this with Grandpa when I go back. If Lord Mizukage only wants the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan, then there is a lot to be done in attacking the Uzumaki country. Kingxi's thoughts were surging, and one plan after another quickly flashed through his mind. The third Mizukage Bing's idea is actually very simple. Once the Second Ninja World War breaks out, according to the current situation, several families will definitely unite to fight against Konoha. Then, the Hidden Mist Village, which is far away overseas, can take the opportunity to unite with the Hidden Cloud Village, which also desires the sealing technique. While Konoha is unable to distract itself and send a large number of elite troops to rescue the Land of Whirlpools, they can attack the Land of Whirlpools together and divide up the most important sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan. But in King C's opinion, although this plan is highly feasible, it is too rough. Kirigakure could just hide behind the scenes and be the sixth in command, letting the reckless men of the Hidden Cloud Village take the lead, and they could follow behind and pick up the slack. It would be better to just not take the initiative to destroy the Uzumaki clan or the Uzumaki country, but instead find a way to make the Uzumaki clan see the true face of Konoha, so that they will not make great efforts to rescue them who have been friends for generations. Wouldn't it be better to just pack up the sealing technique and the people and bring them back to Kirigakure? There is no real alliance between ninja villages. Everything is just for their own interests. King C has seen through this clearly. However, Kyoshi didn't know at that time that with the presence of the first Nabe Cage in Konoha, he would be able to give him a perfect assist, which would be even more extreme than he imagined. Of course, this plan cannot be achieved by just talking, and King C's current status in the village is not high enough to question the decision of the Mizu Cage. Therefore, he must come up with a practical plan to let his grandfather Yuanshi come forward to persuade the third Mizu Cage. The time on the ship passed quickly, and King C stayed in his room all the time during these days, never going out and constantly perfecting his plan. Even his meals were brought to his room by his subordinates at mealtimes. Chapter 45. Nothing happened along the way, it was very peaceful. Because they were traveling along the river on their way back, King Ji and his crew successfully returned to the Hidden Mist village in just 1/3 of the time it took them to get there. After entering the village, King C and others quickly returned to the Anbu headquarters to report. After handing over the task, King C immediately ordered the others to disperse and return to their respective posts. He followed Jian to the Mizu Cage building alone. Inside the Mizukage's office, a middle-aged man with long black hair, an ornament on his head, and wearing a Mizu Cage divine robe was sitting at his desk, quickly processing government affairs. It was the third Mizu Cage Bing. But if you look closely, you can be surprised to find that the third Mizu Cage Bing is working with his eyes closed. The faint chakra fluctuations in the office and the processed government documents piled up on the side show that the Mizu Cage is not blind, but is using some kind of perception ability. Rumor has it that the third Mizu Cage Bing was defeated and humiliated by the Uchiha's visual illusion during the Warring States period, and has kept his eyes closed ever since, relying solely on perception to replace vision. There are also rumors that the third Mizu Cage Bing is practicing an extremely powerful forbidden technique, and his full strength is unleashed only when he opens his eyes. Lord Mizu Cage. Jian walked to the door of the Mizukage's office, straightened his clothes, and knocked on the door respectfully. Come in. The voice of the third Mizu Cage came from the office. The voice of the third Mizu Cage, who is already in his 50s, does not sound old, but full of determination. Lord Mizu Cage. King C followed Jian into the office and also saluted respectfully to the third Mizu Cage behind the desk. Haha, it's little King C. It seems that the mission was very successful. Although King C was wearing a mask, the third Mizu Cage still recognized him. The third Mizu Cage showed a kind smile. Although he had slightly different political views from Kyoshi's grandfather, Yuanshi, he still paid extra attention to the very outstanding younger generations in the village. Otherwise, he would not have given this secret mission related to the future direction of the village to Kyoshi. Yes, the battle between Hanzo of the Salamander and the third Hokage was very fierce. The Hokage used a combination ninjutsu of 5 attributes. Hanzo finally defeated the third Hokage with half a move and left calmly. The third Hokage called Hanzo a demigod. CG calmly told the third Mizu Cage everything he saw, but he did not add his own opinion on the battle. He believed that the third Mizu Cage, who had outstanding experience and went through the Warring States period, had his own judgment. Demigod? Haha. The third Mizu Cage Bing sneered. It seems that Hanzo was also injured, and it couldn't be too serious. Otherwise, with his character, he wouldn't easily let go of the opportunity to seriously injure Sarutobi Hiruzen. As expected of a man who had emerged from the flames of war, the third Mizu Cage Bing's opinion hit the nail on the head. It seems like the next Ninja World War is not far away. Sarutobi Hiruzen made a bad move. Praising Hanzo to such a high position will only make him more inflated. Eager to lead the Hidden Rain Village and the Land of Rain to grow stronger, he will definitely launch a war against other countries. Both the Kaze Cage and the Naruto were defeated by him, so the first choice will definitely be the Hidden Sand Village in the Land of Wind or the Konoha Village in the Land of Fire. If Hanzo gets even more arrogant, he might go to war with them at the same time. Bing sighed, and then began his analysis. Standing at the height of the Mizukage and not being the person involved, combined with Hanzo's personality, the shrewd third Mizukage Bing could easily guess Hanzo's subsequent actions. The judgment of the third Mizukage Bing was very accurate. Not long after, a new round of Ninja World War broke out as expected, with Hanzo initiating a sneak attack on the Wind Kingdom and the Fire Kingdom. Lord Mizukage, the letter has been successfully delivered to Bruai of the Hidden Cloud Village. He led the team to watch the battle. He promised to bring the letter back to the village and give it to the third Raikage. CG continued to report on the mission. If it's him, then there's no problem. We can start preparing now. Bing nodded to show that he understood, and then looked at the sword beside him. Tsurugi, the Anbu needs to take action first. Send a few more teams to the Whirlpool country to gather intelligence. We must be prepared for war to break out at any time. The Kirigakure cannot remain immune to the war that is sweeping the ninja world. And for the subsequent development of the village, we cannot be absent. Bing ordered Tsurugi. Little Kingxi, go to. Take good care of Elder Yuanshi for me. Bing then said to Kingxi. Yes. Lord Mizukage. Kingxi and Jian responded, then turned around and left the Mizukage's office together. The two walked out of the Mizukage building, greeted each other and then separated. Jian had to hurry back to the Anbu headquarters to dispatch personnel and arrange for each team to go out to collect intelligence and complete the tasks assigned by the third Mizukage. Kingxi returned home. He wanted to talk to his grandfather Yuanshi about his views on the Whirlpool country. In the Fire Nation's capital, at the underground gold exchange station, the person in charge of intelligence surrounding the Fire Nation is giving a speech. Recently, I received an order from the Lord. The Lord asked us to collect intelligence about the Whirlpool country and the Rain country with all our strength in the near future. As usual, the Lord will judge the value of the intelligence provided by everyone and give rewards based on the value of the intelligence. That's all. Dismiss. The Land of Frost, the Mountain Cemetery, and Uchiha Madara's underground base. Madara-sama. A lively voice came from the whirlpool-faced white Zetsu named Afei. Hey? There is no movement, could Madara-sama be dead? Hey! Let me take a look. Afei cautiously approached the sleeping Uchiha Madara. Before he could finish his words, Uzumaki-faced pale Zetsu Afei was blown away by the sudden burst of chakra, and Uchiha Madara woke up from his slumber. Speak! The deep and old voice echoed throughout the underground base. Madara, the leader of the Hidden Rain village, Hanzo the Salamander, and the third Hokage of Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen, fought at the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Rain. The battle ended in a draw. After the war, Hanzo the Salamander was awarded the title of demigod. The true form of White Zetsu appeared and told Madara about the battle between Hanzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen. Demigod? Is he worthy of the title of god? Haha, Hashirama, your descendants are really bad. Uchiha Madara commented disdainfully. As the Shura of the ninja world who is as famous as the ninja god Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Madara has not yet experienced the fierce beatings by Emperor Kai of 8 Gates Yagai and Naruto and Sasuke in the Fourth World War. In his eyes, everyone except Senju Hashirama is a loser. He would not recognize any ninja other than Hashirama, even if Hanzo was merely known as a demigod. As the Hokage, he can't even beat someone from a small ninja village, and in the end he even has to flatter others. He really tarnishes the name of Hokage. Uchiha Madara was extremely dissatisfied with this. Known as the Shura of the ninja world, he was a veteran of hundreds of battles. He instantly realized from White Zetsu's description the truth that Sarutobi Hiruzen was at a disadvantage instead of a draw. The first Hokage, Senju Hashirama, was his good friend with whom he loved and hated each other, and although the second Hokage, Senju Tobirama, killed his younger brother Uchiha Izuna, even Madara had to admit his excellent talent. Looking back at the ferocious actions of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, in the eyes of Uchiha Madara it was simply outrageous, outrageous to the extreme. Chapter 46. This is the village you have to protect, Hashirama. Madara murmured to himself, his tone full of love and hate. Send a few more White Zetsu clones to infiltrate Konoha, collect information about the Uchiha clan, and find an Uchiha descendant who can carry my name as soon as possible. My body can't hold on for too long. After a while, Uchiha Madara, who had calmed down, instructed the White Zetsu's original body. Lord Madara. There is one more thing. My clone in the Land of Lightning found out a piece of information. The third Mizukage wrote a letter to the third Reikage, inviting the hidden cloud village to join forces against the land of whirlpools and seize their sealing technique. White Zetsu added. The land of whirlpools, the Uzumaki clan. Uchiha Madara muttered to himself, thought for a moment, and then said to the White Zetsu's original body, whether it's the perception ability or the sealing technique of this clan, it may affect my plan later. Now that Nagato has come to nurture my samsara it seems that I should get rid of this damn clan first. It is not known whether Uchiha Madara remembered Hashirama Senju who was kidnapped by Uzumaki Mito or he really thought that the people of the Uzumaki clan would pose a threat to his plan. In any case, Uchiha Madara also sent a large number of White Zetsu clones to the Whirlpool country to collect intelligence, preparing to follow the village of Mist and village of Cloud to attack the Whirlpool country. The attention turned back to Kingxi. Kingxi returned home and immediately went to see Master Yuan, ready to talk to him about the affairs of the Whirlpool country. Little Kingxi is back. Master Yuan was very happy to see Kingxi coming back. Although he was quite confident in Kingxi's ability, and Kingxi was not participating in a combat mission this time, this was after all the first time for his grandson to go abroad, and Master Yuan still had the worry as an old man about his younger generation going on a long journey. Grandpa! I'm back! Kingxi was also in a good mood. After having Master Yuan as a relative, it was the first time he had been away from home for such a long time. After talking about the relationship between grandparents and grandchildren, the two began to talk about business. Grandpa, do you know that the Mizukage is plotting against the Whirlpool country? Ching Si asked. He wanted to make sure whether the master knew about this. Although Grandpa Master had a high status in the village, he had not intervened in the affairs of the village for some time. I know. In fact, it was me who suggested to Mizukage-sama that you deliver the letter to Kirigakure. Yuanshi replied with a smile. He knew what Kingxi wanted to ask. After the second generation Gengetsu and the second generation Tsuchikage died together, we in the Hidden Mist village no longer have any other top powerhouses except the current third generation. Although there are still some cage level fighters, they are just ordinary cage level. What we lack is a strong person who can make the final decision and change the situation on the battlefield. Therefore, at the suggestion of Master Mizukage, we began to experiment with the Jinkra key. The master continued to explain. However, our Kirigakure lacks the inheritance of sealing techniques, nor has it produced any strong people who are proficient in sealing techniques, so the experiment has not progressed smoothly. We have tried ninjas of all levels of strength, but none of them have succeeded. No one can survive after borrowing the power of the tailed beasts. Those who are lucky enough to survive after using the power of the tailed beasts will soon lose themselves in the rampage of the tailed beasts. Many outstanding ninjas have died without any achievements. The master looked a little gloomy, sighed deeply, and then continued, his tone full of heaviness and unwillingness. The sealing technique inherited by the Uzumaki clan of the Whirlpool country is something we urgently need, and our only chance to obtain it during the upcoming Ninja World War is to snatch it. Otherwise, when Konoha is free, we will not have any chance to get the sealing technique. Although the Uzumaki clan is only a nominal ally of Konoha, Konoha will not allow other villages to get involved. This is why Lord Mizukage proposed this plan. Grandpa, do you know which two-tailed beasts our Kirigakure has? Kingxi asked. He was quite concerned about this and was also a little curious. Kyoshi knew that the Sand village had the one-tailed Shikaku, and the Konoha village had the strongest nine-tailed Kurama. He learned during a mission a while ago that one of the tailed beasts of the Kirigakure village was the eight-tailed Jayaki. As for the whereabouts of the other tailed beasts, even though he now controlled the underground gold exchange, he still didn't know much. After all, after seeing the scene of the nine-tailed Jinchuriki Uzumaki Mito taking action in the First Ninja World War, each village had regarded the tailed beasts as their own strategic nuclear weapons and tightly blocked the news. Initially, all eight-tailed beasts were obtained by Konoha. At the first 5-cage summit, the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju, sold the other 7-tailed beasts except the 9 tails. The Sand village already had 1 tail, so they didn't want the other tailed beasts. The Uegakure village got the 4 tails and the 5 tails, our Mist village got the 3 tails and the 6 tails, and the Kirigakure got the 2 tails and the 8 tails. As for the last 7 tails, it was given to the Takigakure village, which had equally strong overall strength at the time. Master Yuan answered Kingxi's question in detail. After all, he was his great-grandson, and Kingxi was strong enough now. His elite Jonin strength was also among the best in the Mist village. There was nothing he couldn't tell him about such a secret. 3-tailed Isabu and 6-tailed rhino. Kingxi thought to himself. Note, the tailed beasts did not hate humans at the beginning. At the beginning, they maintained a good relationship with humans. Later, they were gradually captured by certain people who pursued power. Although he had not watched Naruto much in his previous life, Cg, who had 1,000 years of memory, knew the names of each of the 9-tailed beasts clearly. Chapter 47. Grandpa, this is what I think. Kingxi sorted out his thoughts and then said, I think the factors that determine the state of Jinchuriki are not entirely due to the problem of sealing techniques. Although I don't know what type of ninjas our predecessors who participated in the Jinchuriki experiment before were, I guess they should not have particularly large chakras or extremely strong vitality that far exceeds that of ninjas of the same level. The master was stunned for a moment, and then began to recall one by one all the ninjas who had been candidates for the 3 tails and 6 tails Jinchuriki. After thinking about it for a while, Master Yuan was surprised to find that Kingxi was right. Although the ninjas who had previously volunteered to be candidates for the Jinchuriki experiments included Genin, Chunin, Elite Chunin, Special Jonin, Jonin, Elite Jonin, and even cage-level ninjas, all of these ninjas were, without exception, ordinary civilian ninjas and did not possess any special talents. CG is actually using known conclusions to reverse the process. Is Heike once thought of taking the 9-tailed beasts in the ninja world that were separated from the 10 tails belonging to Kagaya, so CG is quite knowledgeable on how to create a Jinchuriki and how to achieve a perfect Jinchuriki. Before being able to reach a reconciliation with the tailed beast, in order to use the power of the tailed beast without being backlashed or going berserk, the Jinchuriki himself needs to have a firm will that is not corrupted by the malice contained in the tailed beast's chakra, an extremely powerful vitality far beyond that of ordinary people, and a chakra far more massive than that of an ordinary ninja that can resist the chakra of the tailed beast entering the body, combined with the appropriate sealing technique to be able to do this. The reason why the previous experiment failed was that the level of sealing techniques of the Hidden Mist Village was not just poor, it was simply completely without any foundation. Another problem lies in the selection of personnel. The predecessors who volunteered to take on the tailed beasts are indeed worthy of admiration, but most of them do not even have the qualifications to become Jinchuriki. In Kiyoshi's opinion, among the civilian ninjas, unless they are gifted and possess the qualities just described, currently only the Hoshigaki clan, the Karatagi clan, and the Kagaya clan in the Hidden Mist Village have the possibility of becoming Jinchuriki. Keep going. Master Yuan understood Kingxi's meaning and motioned for him to continue. Why does the ninja world always say that the Uzumaki clan is the most perfect candidate for Jinchuriki? They are proficient in various sealing techniques and have a complete inheritance of sealing techniques. They can suppress the tailed beasts anytime and anywhere. The ninjas of the Uzumaki clan also have vitality and chakra far beyond other ninjas. No, they can even be called chakra. Kingxi continued, they can even survive for a period of time even if the tailed beasts in their bodies are extracted. So we not only need to get the sealing technique, the best solution is actually to bring back both the people and the technique together. But there's no way to guarantee that. We in Kirigakure are going to snatch their sealing technique, which means we're going to dig out their roots. How can they let it go? It may end up as a war to annihilate the country. With hatred filling their hearts, even if we bring back the members of the Uzumaki clan, they won't be able to help us Kirigakure. The master raised his doubts. Grandpa, this is what I'm going to say next. After a pause, Kingxi told his plan, although we are acting together with Kirigakure, it does not mean that we are allies. Moreover, even if we are allies, we must put the interests of our Kirigakure first. The ninjas of Kirigakure can basically be said to be all reckless. Although the third Raikage is very calm and wise, he still believes more in his fists and strength. We can make an agreement with Kirigakure in advance and launch an attack on the Whirlpool country from 2 different directions. Anyway, their goal is only the sealing technique. As long as they can obtain the sealing technique, I don't think they will care about other details. Therefore, there is no need for us to form an alliance with them. We can act separately and not interfere with each other, and finally meet in Whirlpool village where the Uzumaki clan gathers. The third Raikage will most likely agree. We, Kirigakure, will land on the south side of the island where the country of Whirlpools is located, and will take the initiative to go to the west to intercept the reinforcements that Konoha may send. I believe that Konoha, which is already deeply mired in the quagmire of war at that time, will not send too many ninjas to help. But we are not really going to destroy the country. We can find reasons to delay the time of the attack, let Kirigakure take the first step against the Uzumaki clan, and then we can take advantage of the situation. At the same time, we can send people to negotiate with the Uzumaki clan to relocate some of their clansmen to our Kirigakure. Under the premise of not really taking action against the Uzumaki clan and generating irreconcilable hatred, whether it is threats or exchanges of interests, I think as long as they can see through the fact that Konoha cannot rescue them at all, facing the situation of genocide and country extinction, they may compromise. Kingsley told Master Yuan all his ideas in one breath. Of course. The worst case scenario is that the Uzumaki clan does not accept our Kirigakure's goodwill and resist to the end, then we will have to take action ourselves to get what we want. Kingsley then added that although he wanted to help his distant relatives, if they really did not know the current situation, he would not mind taking action against them. After all, his base is still Kirigakure, and he cannot sit on the wrong side of the fence. Not bad, very good. Ha ha ha. Master Yuan laughed heartily after listening to Kingsley's story. Little Kingsley already has the thinking of a qualified cage, and knows how to fight for the interests of our Kirigakure. Although the idea is immature and the process still needs to be considered, your plan is indeed feasible. If it is really realized, our Kirigakure will not only be able to obtain the sealing technique and successfully have a Jinchuriki who can go to the battlefield, but also allow the Uzumaki clan to take root in Kirigakure. In fact, this is a problem of poor intelligence. In the ninja world of this era, the Jinchuriki of each village are still in the exploratory stage. So after listening to Kingsley's analysis of the situation of the Jinchuriki, Yuanshi immediately realized that what Kingsley said should be correct, so he agreed with Kingsley's plan without hesitation. Is there anyone in the Hidden Mist village who can think of this? I think there should be some, but I think their words do not carry enough weight or their status is not enough to convince the fighting Third Mizukage. Secondly, in the original work, the Third Mizukage sent the 7 ninja swordsmen to launch a surprise attack on the Land of Fire. Although this may have been an order issued by Uchiha Madara, no one actually opposed this somewhat stupid order. It can only be said that the tradition of the Hidden Mist village is not much better than that of the reckless Hidden Mist village. It's the same in one word, do it. So without Kingsley's intervention, Kirigakure and Kumigakure were originally aiming to destroy the Whirlpool country and the Uzumaki clan and then snatch the sealing technique. Chapter 48. Master Yuan generally agreed with Kingsley's plan, but he wanted to make it more detailed based on Kingsley's plan, to think of all possible situations and prepare response plans. Okay, go organize your thoughts and write me a written report. I'll go talk to Lord Mizukage after I revise it. Master Yuan said to Kingsley. Yes. Kingsley answered respectfully, with a hint of excitement in his tone that his plan was approved by his grandfather. However, at this time, Kyoji would not have thought that there would be 2 people who would disrupt the actions of the Whirlpool country. One was Danzo Shimura, the cage of Konoha, who gave him the best assist, and the other was Uchiha Madara, who was fanning the flames in secret. Master Yuan was also a man of action. After Kingsley handed him the plan scroll, he spent another day making more detailed modifications to the plan. Then he went to meet the third Mizukage Bing and finally succeeded in convincing Bing. Time passed quickly, and soon it was June of the 34th year of Kirigakure. CG was 6 years old. Kiyoshi, who entered the Elite Jonin threshold at the age of 13, has already taken a big step on the road from Elite Jonin to Kage level. However, even though Kingsley could clearly feel the power in his eyes growing, and his perception of the Mahakala space left by his Haki became clearer and clearer, he still had not awakened his own eyes. Maybe what he needs is some kind of opportunity. In July of the 34th year of the Kirigakure era, the Hidden Rain village, led by Hanzo Salamander, launched attacks in all directions. On July 7th, he led his ninjas to occupy 2 towns on the border of the Land of Grass. Then, seeing that the surrounding Land of Earth and Land of Fire only condemned his behavior but did not take any action, he launched another attack on July 7th and continued to occupy all the towns on the border of the Land of Grass. The poor fence-sitter Land of Grass was abandoned by the 2 major countries of Earth and Fire. The third Tsuchikage Onoki was simply not ready and did not want to face the powerful Hanzo. The third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, after the analysis of Mizudaman and Kohara Udadan, believed that Hanzo would stop after conquering the surrounding small countries and did not think that he had any intention of going to war with the Land of Fire and Konoha. Poor Nabekage Danzo Shimura was once again ignored. On July 3-4 of the 7th year of the Kirigakure era, Hanzo set out again, this time targeting the Land of Birds. He occupied the entire Land of Birds at an extremely fast speed before other countries could react. The Bird Country, which had no ninja village, fell before a group of wandering ninjas and samurai could put up any effective resistance. The daimyo of the bird country and a group of nobles fled to the wind country in a panic to seek refuge with the daimyo of the wind country. The land of earth, the hidden rock village, the land of wind, and the hidden sand village, who reacted quickly, condemned Hanzo and demanded that he return the occupied land of birds. They also sent envoys to the hidden rain village to try to find out Hanzo's true thoughts. He doubled the sphere of influence of the rain country and the hidden rain village so easily. Immersed in the pleasure of territorial expansion, Hanzo became more and more inflated. Within the rain country and the hidden rain village, from the daimyo and nobles to the ninjas and common people of the hidden rain village, they all cheered for the hero, the demigod salamander Hanzo, who led them to expand their territory. Seeing that the major countries still hadn't taken any actual action and were only engaged in verbal condemnation, Hanzo decided to make one final test. On August 34, the 8th year of the Kirigakure era, Hanzo Salamander held a large-scale exercise near the border between the rain country and the fire country. After the exercise, he announced that 3 ninjas were missing, including 2 chunins and 1 jonin. Using this as an excuse, he requested to enter the fire country to conduct a search. Of course, this matter was sternly rejected by the Konoha ninjas stationed at the border, but Hanzo relied on his strong strength and, surrounded by a group of Konoha ninjas, forcibly broke into the land of fire, showed off his power for a while, and then left safely. The news was passed back to Konoha. Although Nabekage Shimura Danzo clearly stated that Hanzo was likely to take action against Konoha, he strongly advocated taking the initiative to go to war with Hanzo and Omegakure. But after Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Hatchling's analysis again, Sarutobi Hiruzen still felt that Hanzo was just demonstrating and would not really take action. The helpless Nabekage could only leave a sentence once again, "Hiruzen, you will regret it," and then slammed the door and left. Soon, another 10 days passed. Seeing that Konoha had no reaction at all, Hanzo got the result he wanted and finally made up his mind. I don't know how many ninjas each country has. The settings in the original work are quite contradictory. The number of Konoha ninjas is only over 1, including those who died in battle. But during the 4th Ninja World War, not counting the 5 great ninja nations and the samurai of the Iron Country, the ninja coalition had 3 people. During the 3rd Ninja World War, the 3rd Raikage died of exhaustion under the siege of ninjas from the hidden rock village. Onoki is such a shrewd old man, he wouldn't bring too many ordinary ninjas with him, so I think most of these ninjas should be chunins. So I made my own setting. In the early stage of the Second Shinobi World War, Hanzo led the Rain Village to suppress the Sand Village and Konoha, and they were able to win. Moreover, the average quality of the Rain Village ninjas was definitely not as good as that of the big ninja villages. So in addition to Hanzo's own strong strength and the fact that the poison of the salamander was suitable for group battles, the only explanation was that the Rain Village had a large number of people at that time. The setting is that during World War II, the hidden Rain Village had 1,000 jonin including special jonin, 5,000 chunin, and genin. The strength of the hidden Rain Village was relatively weak. Although there were many jonin, they were just ordinary jonin. There were very few elite jonin. The main force was 1 person. Moreover, whether it was Sand Village, Iwagakure, or Konoha, it was impossible to send all the ninjas to the battlefield at once. They had to leave people to guard the house and also guard against other villages. During World War II, Konoha had 1,000 jonin, 6,000 chunin, and genin. Sand Village and Kirigakure both implemented an elite policy, with more elites, but the total number of ninjas was less than Konoha. Kumigakure was not much different from Konoha. Iwagakure was more powerful in terms of troop explosion, and they all fought in legions, so they had more genin and chunin. During the Second Ninja World War, the number of ninjas in each village should not have reached its peak, but after nearly 20 years of recuperation after the First Ninja World War, there must have been quite a few. Friends who have read the book can leave a message to discuss this. This setting in the original book is really a big pit. Chapter 49. Another month passed quickly. At the entrance of the hidden Rain Village, 3,000 Rain ninjas have gathered and are on standby. None of these ninjas are genin, all of them are elite ninjas above the chunin level. Let's go now. Half of you will follow me to the rain and wind border, and the other half will follow Heiji and Kamita to the rain and fire border. Launch the raid on time at 9 p.m. on September 18th, and make sure to eliminate all their border guarding ninjas. Hanzo appeared in front of everyone in an instant and gave orders loudly. Then he turned to the salamanders Kamata and Heiji who were following behind him and said, "Tell everyone not to save Chakra, and recover after destroying all the Konoha ninjas. Don't let any news leak out. Contact us via salamanders at any time if there is any progress. Please rest assured, sir. Heiji and Kameda, who are Hanzo's right-hand men, responded loudly. Disperse. With Hanzo's order, a large number of elite rain ninjas quickly left in two different directions. Near the border between the land of rain and the land of fire, Salamander Kamatsu and Heiji were ready, and behind them were 1,500 rain ninjas following them. However, the border garrison troops on Konoha's side had no idea that danger was about to come, and the order from the village was just for them to remain as they were. As the current leader of the ninja world and the victor of the First Ninja World War, Konoha interprets Hanzo's recent actions as a way to show off military power. Although the ninja world is currently shrouded in the shadow of war, Konoha is ready to go to war with the other major ninja villages at any time and has also strengthened the defenses at the borders of the major countries. However, they never thought that the tiny country of Omegakure would dare to take the lead in stroking Konoha's tiger whiskers and become the first ninja village to take action. The time came to 8 o'clock, and with the launch of 3 flares, the Rain Village ninjas launched a surprise attack on the border garrison of the Fire Country on time. Water Release Water Crush Wave. Hundreds of Chunin-level rain ninjas formed hand seals together, creating a terrifying pool of water. The terrifying chakra fluctuations spread throughout the rain and fire border. Oh no, enemy attack! Konoha finally realized that something was wrong. The ninja on duty quickly shouted to warn and prepared to send a signal that they were under enemy attack. But it was too late, the next wave of attacks from the rain ninja had already arrived. Water Release, Great Waterfall Technique. This is an A-level water jutsu launched by all the jonin of the rain ninja together. Moreover, the most important characteristic of water jutsu is that the power of the jutsu can be increased with the increase of the amount of water. With the water wave already laid in advance, and the joint efforts of many senior ninjas, the A-level waterfall technique exploded with a power far exceeding that of ordinary S-level ninjutsu. The huge waves crossed the rain and fire border at an extremely fast speed and rushed towards the Konoha ninjas, creating a scene on land that was comparable to a tsunami. Dense groups of rain ninjas followed closely behind the huge waves they created, quickly stepping on the water and advancing rapidly into the territory of the Fire Country. The Konoha garrison stationed on the border between the land of fire and the land of rain, under the tactical guidance of the 2 young masters in Konoha village, were almost completely unprepared for the sudden attack by Omegakure. Under the sneak attack of the rain ninja, which could be called a saturation attack, the entire group was wiped out. The Konoha garrison troops in the direction of the rain and fire border were taken away by the rain ninjas in one wave. Chunin, clean up the battlefield quickly. Perception ninjas, increase your perception. Make sure no one escapes. Salamander Kamada ordered loudly. The rest of you, quickly restore your chakra. I will contact Hanzo-sama to ask for the next step. Psychic Art. Shenda used hand seals to summon a small salamander, quickly wrote down their situation on a scroll and put it into the salamander's mouth. Not long after, Shenda felt the change in the contract and used the psychic technique to summon the salamander again and took out the scroll from its mouth. After opening the scroll, Kameda quickly glanced over the orders given by Hanzo, and then called over Heiji, who was meditating nearby to restore his chakra. Lord Hanzo's latest order is to divide the troops into 2 parts, with you and me leading each team respectively, and quickly occupy all the towns in the land of fire close to our border. Kameda said as he handed the scroll in his hand to Heiji. After Heiji took the scroll and confirmed it, he said to Shenda, very good, then we will start the action in 5 minutes and let them recover their chakra. At this time, the border of the Wind Country was in the same situation as that of the Fire Country. Although the 3rd Kazekage Tessa had increased his vigilance and strengthened the border defense because of Hanzo's previous actions, it was Hanzo who took action himself, and the border garrison of Tsunagakure was wiped out by the Rain Ninja in just 20 minutes. On September 34, the 9th year of Kirigakure, all towns in the Wind Country and the Fire Country facing the border of the Rain Country had fallen. It took less than a day since the surprise attack was launched at 19 p.m. on the 18th. Hanzo used his practical actions and successful experience to teach the entire ninja world a lesson called Blitzkrieg. Chapter 50. At this time, Konoha and Tsunagakure were still unaware of the bad news because no one from the garrison troops on the border of the Land of Rain survived, and there was still a peaceful atmosphere in Konoha village and Tsunagakure village. Seeing that the raid had achieved such great results, Hanzo wanted to continue his efforts, expand the results, occupy more land, and plunder more resources. Because most of the Wind Kingdom is desert, there are not many places to survive, which is far inferior to the fertile land of the Fire Kingdom. Therefore, after Hanzo led the team to plunder, he focused his subsequent attack direction on the Fire Kingdom. On the Sand Village side, although the border garrison troops were completely wiped out and were driven into the Kingdom of Wind by the Rain Village, because the 3rd Kazekage Tessa had previously ordered to increase the border defense level, the Sand Village realized that something might have happened on the 19th because of the loss of contact with the border troops. Soon, the Sand Village figured out the situation. Although he was extremely angry about the Hidden Rain Village's undeclared war and sneak attack, Tisha immediately began to deploy troops and blocked the attack of the Rain Ninja troops in time, preventing the Rain Ninjas from advancing the front line into the heart of the Wind Kingdom. As Hanzo went to the Fire Country front to take charge of the situation, the Hidden Rain Village gradually slowed down its offensive. Relying on the several border towns of the Wind Country that they had already occupied, they built a defense line and were in a stalemate with the Hidden Sand Village. Let's look at Konoha. 2 days have passed, and Konoha has not found anything wrong. Soon it was the evening of September 9 St. 3 days had passed since the Rain Village raid on the Land of Fire. Hanzo's troops were heading straight for the heart of the Land of Fire. After he arrived at the battlefield of the Land of Fire, all the Konoha ninjas he met along the way escaped, and the news was blocked. Just when the Rain Ninjas had quickly pushed the front line to the point where they were only 1 day away from Tansho Street, the Konoha Anbu, who had not yet made contact with the border troops beyond the normal contact time, realized that something was wrong. In the end, a small team of root ninjas under the command of Danzo Nabekage Shimura passed by the Rain Ninja unit from a distance while on a mission. It just so happened that there was a perception ninja in this team who got away before being discovered by the Rain Ninjas. Only then did they finally learn the exact information that the Rain Ninjas had already entered the Land of Fire. Boom! The door of the Hokage's office was violently kicked open, and Danzo Shimura rushed in with an angry face. Sarutobi Hiruzen! Look at what you have done! The Omegakure bastards are almost reaching Konoha. How dare you sit here peacefully? The furious Danzo Shimura yelled at Sarutobi Hiruzen and threw the intelligence scroll in his hand at him fiercely. I've said it before. Hanzo of the Salamander has no good intentions. We should just destroy Omegakure. Would this have happened if you had listened to me earlier? Danzo continued to point at Sarutobi Hiruzen's nose and yelled crazily. Although he had done a lot of things in the name of Konoha in private, and had always had ideas about the position of Hokage and wanted to seize it, this did not mean that he could sit idly by and watch Konoha being rubbed at its doorstep. After all, he regarded Konoha as his Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen was a little confused for a moment. He didn't know what had happened, but when he heard Danzo coming up and scolding him, he felt a little unhappy at first, but then he had a bad premonition in his heart. Without bothering to refute Danzo, or worrying about the fact that Danzo dared to point at his nose and scold him, Sarutobi Hiruzen hurriedly opened the scroll and quickly browsed through it. After reading the information, Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes went dark, blood rushed up his throat, and he muttered, Yan and Xiaochun have misled me. Danzo was still speaking crazily, I've reminded you time and again that you should be wary of Hanzo and Omegakure's evil ambitions, but you just didn't want to believe me. If you had assigned some of the ninjas sent to the border to strengthen defense against Sand Village, Iwagakure, Kumegakure, and Mist Village to guard against Omegakure, this wouldn't have happened. Am I not doing this for Konoha? Hey! Danzo Shimura's spit kept spurting out, almost drowning Sarutobi Hiruzen, and at this time Mito Kato-en and Utane Koharu, who had received the news, came to the Hokage's office. Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Young had no sense of being tricked at all. After all, in their opinion, the two of them were just advisors to the Hokage responsible for analysis and making suggestions, and the real decision was made by the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. Danzo, stop talking. The most urgent thing is to quickly organize the ninja troops to drive Hanzo and the Rain Ninjas out of the Land of Fire and push the front line back to the border of the Land of Rain. Mito Kato-en spoke up to persuade them to stop. However, it would have been fine if Mito Kato-en hadn't spoken, because as soon as he opened his mouth, Danzo became even angrier. If it weren't for the fact that he and Udaten Koharu, the two scumbags, had not confused Sarutobi Hiruzen with their words, how could Hiruzen, as a good friend, not consider the advice of him as the Hokage's assistant? Danzo was so angry that he raised his fist and wanted to hit Mitomanen with a punch. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen finally came to his senses and stopped him. He looked at the three people, calmed down his mind, and said, Stop arguing, Danzo, you take the route to stop the Yugakure troops first, I will send the Anbu to go with you. Yan, Xiaochun, quickly notify the major families and convene a meeting of the Jonin class. We must form an elite force of all Jonin as quickly as possible, and then reinforce Danzhou. I will also go to the battlefield myself to compete with Hanzhou again. We must drive them out of the land of fire. Danzhou didn't say anything else. He snorted coldly, turned around and left the Hokage's office. He was going to set off first with the root and the Anbu. Although Danzhou had some thoughts in his mind at this time, they were not as outrageous and perverted as in the later stages. At this time, he was still making contributions to Konoha, so he was willing to empty his family fortune in order to protect Konoha. On September 34, the 9th year of the Kirigakure era, the news that the Hidden Rain Village in the Rain Country had brazenly launched a war against the Hidden Sand Village in the Wind Country and the Hidden Leaf Village in the Fire Country, after repeated confirmation by spies from all sides, finally spread throughout the ninja world, and a new round of ninja war began. Chapter 51. In the Hidden Mist Village, Kiyoshi, who was not out on a mission, was teaching his subordinates at the first training ground. Suddenly, the loud cry of a ninja hawk was heard in the sky. Kiyoshi's face changed. This was the highest level of combat readiness notice. You guys conduct your training on your own. Kingxi didn't have time to explain. After leaving a few words, he quickly changed his clothes and rushed to the Mizu Cage building. On the way, Kingxi also received urgent information from his subordinates in the underground gold exchange office. After opening it and taking a look at the content, Kingxi instantly understood it and then increased his speed of teleportation. In the meeting room of the Mizu Cage building, several elders, patriarchs of major families, ministers of various departments, captains of the Anbu, and all the Jonin currently in the village have gathered in the room. Even Kagaya Musashi, the head of the Kagaya clan, who currently has a tense relationship with the Hidden Mist village and does not live in the village, is present. Kingxi, dressed in Anbu attire, did not sit with his grandfather Yuanqi, but sat with the Captain General Jian and several other squad leaders. As soon as he entered the meeting room, Kingxi sensed the familiar fluctuations of the corpse vein. This was the first time he saw Kagaya Musashi in person. Kingxi restrained his hatred and did not look at Kagaya Musashi, and kept convincing himself in his heart that his current strength and influence were not the best time to take action against her. The door of the conference room opened again, and the third Mizu Cage Bing, wearing a Mizu Cage hat, walked in slowly and nodded to everyone. Behind him was a ninja with sharp teeth, a beard on his chin, and a fluffy bandage wrapped around his neck. Kingji knew this ninja named Tsugano no Baito and knew that he was a guard ninja trained personally by the third Mizu Cage Bing. Everyone. The third Mizu Cage cleared his throat and spoke. His voice, enhanced by chakra, echoed throughout the conference room. I have received accurate information. The Ninja World War has broken out again. As soon as the words fell, the silent conference room suddenly erupted into a noise, and the participants were whispering to each other. Silence! The wild bait man beside Bing shouted loudly. Let me finish first. It's not too late for you to discuss later. Bing didn't care and continued. On the night of September 9th, the Hidden Rain Village took the initiative to launch a sneak attack on the Wind and Fire countries. According to the latest intelligence, Hanzhou of the Salamander has led the Rain Ninjas to attack the heartland of the Fire country. Bing dropped another bombshell. Now, the silence in the conference room could no longer be maintained, and everyone couldn't believe what they heard. One is that the small ninja village of Yuyan actually dared to take the initiative to provoke a war, and even confronted the two major ninja villages at the same time. Another thing is that no one expected that the current leader of the ninja world, Konoha village of the Land of Fire, would be almost beaten at its doorstep. Ahem! An old cough came from the front row. It was Kingxi's grandfather, Yuanqi, who spoke. Lord Mizu Cage, may I ask if our Kirigakure will join the battle? No. Bing rejected the idea without hesitation, and then added, at least we will not join the war now. As for the future, it depends on the situation. The most important thing for us right now is to prepare for the attack on the Whirlpool country. The third Mizu Cage Bing took advantage of this conference to officially announce to all the senior leaders in the village that he would take action against the Whirlpool country. If a Megakure attacks Tsunagakure and Konoha at the same time and wants to achieve certain results, it must start fighting first and then declare war. Although what Salamander Hanzhou did was a bit despicable in this regard, there is actually no problem. Because a Megakure is a small ninja village that lacks various ninjutsu inheritances. Although they have a large number of ninjas, even more than our Kirigakure, their overall strength is far weaker than that of Tsunagakure and Konoha, except for Salamander Hanzo, who is known as a demigod. Bing analyzed. Then he paused for a moment and continued, the goal of Rain Village is nothing more than territory and resources. So if they want to gain enough benefits, they must seize the initiative in the war and achieve the strategic goal of dragging Sand Village and Konoha into a fight. Then, they will unexpectedly concentrate their superior forces for a strategic decisive battle, defeat one of the ninja villages in one fell swoop, and then have a free hand to fight the other ninja village. Sand Village and Konoha not only have to be wary of each other, even if they can form a temporary alliance, they still have to reserve enough ninjas to guard against Iwagakure, Kumigakure, and even our Kirigakure. Therefore, I think the war between them will last at least 1 to 2 years. Bing made his speculation, and then continued, this gives us a golden opportunity to take action against the Whirlpool country. Most of the living forces of Konoha village are dragged on the battlefield with Kirigakure. As long as we don't take the initiative to attack Konoha and the Fire Country, I think Konoha's rescue force for the Whirlpool country will be extremely limited. I know that some people here do not agree with the creation of Jinchuriki, a tailed beast weapon, but now according to intelligence, other ninja villages already have Jinchuriki who can play a role on the battlefield. Having a sword but not using it and having no sword at all are two different things, so we in Kirigakure must also have a Jinchuriki of our own. Therefore, the inheritance of the sealing technique is what our Kirigakure village urgently needs at present, and preparing for war against the land of whirlpools is our top priority now. I have sent the Anbu to collect relevant intelligence and contacted Kumigakure and reached an agreement. The battle plan will be sent to relevant personnel later. All departments must work together to make preparations. Depending on the situation in Konoha, I will launch a war against the land of whirlpools at any time. Bing made the final decision on the future direction of Kirigakure. As for Kingsee's plan for the Whirlpool country and the Uzumaki clan, Bing didn't need to tell everyone. He could just wait until the war broke out and then implement it. Chapter 52. Today's events are classified as top secret of Kirigakure. All participants are ordered to keep their mouths shut and no news is allowed to leak out. Everything is for Kirigakure. Bing's tone was very serious, revealing a hint of murderous intent. Yes. For Kirigakure. Everyone responded loudly. Oh, right. Bing suddenly thought of something and spoke again. Previous Mizukages have left behind several extremely powerful ninja swords, which greatly increase the combat power of the ninjas who use them. In addition, after my collection and forging over the years, I now have a total of 7 ninja swords. Then Bing took out a scroll that was slightly larger than the normal scroll from his ninja tool bag, pulled it with both hands, and slowly opened it. He saw 7 big characters engraved on the scroll: broken, big, long, blunt, explosive, thunder, and double. Bing input chakra into the scroll, and 7 big words lit up at the same time. The seal was lifted, a puff of white smoke appeared, and 7 ninja swords of different shapes appeared in front of everyone. Seeing that everyone had seen it, Bing continued, now, in addition to the cage, each of the major ninja villages has dozens of ninjas who are famous in the entire ninja world, but we in Kirigakure only have a few. Therefore, I decided to publicly select 7 people from the entire village to wield these 7 ninja swords, and these 7 people will become members of my cage guard. I intend to create a special ninja force for our Kirigakure that is famous in the ninja world and can undertake a series of war missions such as battlefield raids, commander beheadings, or assassinations, and can play the role of a sharp knife. The notice will be sent to the whole village later. You can go back and prepare. The selection of personnel will be held in early next year. After saying this, Bing no longer paid attention to the discussion among the crowd, and turned around and left the meeting room with the Tonko Yebai people. Seeing that there was nothing else to do, Kingsea and several members of the Anbu left the meeting room and returned to the Anbu headquarters together. They wanted to convey the outbreak of war to their respective subordinates. As soon as Kingji entered the first training ground, the 3rd Mizukage's guard, Togasaya Ito, arrived. Bone. Lord Mizukage wants to see you. Tonko Yebaran brought the order from the 3rd Mizukage Bing. Confused, Kingsi had no choice but to follow Tongasaya Ito back to the Mizukage building. In the Mizukage's office, Bing was standing solemnly beside the huge French window, looking up at the village he loved so much. Lord Mizukage. The captain's bones of the Anbu have been brought here. Tonkusayito said respectfully. Bing turned around and motioned Tonkusayito to leave, then slowly told Kingsi the reason why he called him over. Little Kingsi. I hope you can come to participate in the ninja sword selection. I am still very confident in your strength, but if you have an excellent ninja sword, then you will be able to rival the kage level at the elite Jonin stage. The elder Yuanshi once told me that he hopes to train you to be a qualified Mizu kage, and I agree with this. Your strength, your wisdom, and your ability fully possess the potential to become a Mizu kage, but you still need more experience. Bing Kang's old voice kept echoing in Kingxi's ears, becoming a member of the Shadow Guard, or even becoming the captain of the Shadow Guard like your father did, is the only way to become a Mizu kage. Yes. Lord Mizu kage. Kingxi did not reject Bing's kindness. He agreed after a little thought. Haha, go ahead. Bing smiled at Kingxi, his eyes full of expectations for this younger generation whom he and Master Yuan were both optimistic about. The perspective returns to Konoha. September 34th, Kirigakure 9, a week had passed since the war began. Konoha's vanguard, Root and Anbu, led by Nabekage Danzo Shimura, engaged in a battle with the Rain Ninjas led by Hanzo, temporarily blocking Hanzo's continued offensive. In Konoha village, on the rooftop of the Hokage building, the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, wearing the Hokage hat and the Hokage robe, was giving a speech to the people gathered below. People of Konoha, just a week ago, Konoha suffered the most tragic loss since the founding of the village. At this moment, your relatives and friends are fighting on the front lines to defend your stable life. And all this is caused by the aggressive war launched by the Hidden Rain village. Perhaps, we can forgive our relatives who have made mistakes, but we can never forgive those enemies who tried to destroy Konoha and killed our relatives. We will never forgive such enemies. Sarutobi Hiruzen's passionate voice was transmitted far away under the blessing of Chakra. The flames of war have been ignited. This is not what we want to see, and it is not something we can decide. However, we can decide one thing, and that is who will hold out to the end. In the more than 30 years since the village was founded, we have experienced many wars. In the last Ninja World War, we faced sieges from the other 4 major ninja villages, but we have never been defeated by any opponent, and have never bowed to any enemy. It was like this before, it is like this now, and I firmly believe that it will be like this in the future. To all of Konoha, peace has left us, so we must use our actions to tell any enemy who dares to provoke Konoha that those who play with fire will get burned. We must use our actions to tell any enemy that Konoha will hold out to the end again, Konoha will be invincible, and we will surely win the final victory, the greatest victory. Chapter 53. The speech of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen lasted for more than half an hour. He was indeed an outstanding politician. Through his speech he downplayed the problems in his decision-making, while at the same time arousing everyone's momentum of solidarity against the enemy, fanning the hatred and anger in everyone's hearts and mobilizing everyone's passion for fighting. Now, in the name of the third Hokage of Konoha village, I hereby declare that Konoha will enter a state of total war from now on. Every resident of Konoha, for you, for your loved ones, for your homes, from now on, contribute every bit of your strength to the village, to this war started by the enemy, and to our final victory. The battle horn has sounded, beat our war drums, put on our armor, take up our ninja swords, we will fight the enemy to the end and never surrender. Wherever Konoha dances, the fire will continue to live. The flames will continue to illuminate the village and let new leaves sprout. Sarutobi Hiruzen ended with this widely circulated wall of fire, which once again aroused a round of cheers. Everyone who was listening to the speech became excited, and even some older ninjas recalled the passionate years of the last Ninja World War. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen's voice was not majestic enough, his firm and passionate voice told every Konoha member that at this critical moment of life and death, Konoha will use all its strength to fight this war to the end and defeat every enemy until the final victory is achieved. Time quickly came to the end of the year. In the past 3 months, several battles involving thousands of ninjas broke out between Sand Village and Omegakure, and between Konoha and Omegakure. The battle lines had been gradually pushed back from their respective countries to the land of the rain. When the 2 huge war machines of Sunagakure and Konoha started moving, although the Hidden Rain village still had an advantage in the number of ninjas, the disadvantages of a small country and village had gradually begun to be exposed. Sunagakure and Konoha only sent out a part of their ninjas, and the potential for subsequent wars is great, but Omegakure has already put all its efforts into facing these 2 behemoths. Hanzo, who has invaded 2 major ninja villages at the same time, is now in a difficult situation. If it weren't for the fact that Sunagakure and Konoha were not on guard against each other, and even had some minor frictions occasionally, the Hidden Rain village, which was a small ninja village that was trying to compete with the 2 large ninja villages, might have been invaded by Sunagakure and Konoha and invaded the heart of the Rain country long ago, and would not be stuck in a stalemate near the border of the Rain Country now. Hanzo of the Salamander, who originally had the ambition to lead the Hidden Rain Village and the Land of Rain to become the 6th largest ninja village and the 6th largest country, has recently been running back and forth between the two battlefields and is exhausted. However, from another perspective, Hanzo did slow down the pace of the two major ninja villages, and achieved part of the original strategic goals mentioned by the third Mizukage Bing. Moreover, it is almost the new year, and the intensity of the war has slowed down a little recently. Although small-scale confrontations are still continuing, large-scale battles between the two villages have not broken out for some time. At the same time, the Uegakure village and the Kumigakure village, which had not yet joined the battle, had already prepared for war, sharpening their swords and ready to join the chaos at any time. On December 3-4 of the 12th year of Kirigakure, the last day of the year, Kirigakure village far away overseas paid no attention to the hustle and bustle of the ninja world and held a selection of ninja swordsmen at the number 31 training ground in the north of the village. The number 15 training ground was built based on the huge artificial lake created by the first Mizukage Byakuren using water jutsu. It is one of the most frequently visited training places for the Jonin of the Hidden Mist village. Quite a lot of ninjas had gathered near the training ground, some were there to participate in the selection, and some were there to watch the game. Kiyoshi and his subordinates have also arrived. In addition to Kiyoshi, there are 4 other people participating in the selection for the first team. They are the team leader of the first team, Zigwashin Pufferfish, the team member of the first team, Biwajozo, and the team members of the sixth team, Kurisan Kushimaru and Murashi Shinpeki. The others just came to watch the battle, or according to Kingsi, to see the world. Among Seiji's friends and subordinates, Yagura has a family heirloom coral stick and cannot use a ninja sword. Although Chinano has strong combat capabilities, she mainly serves as a medical ninja. Zi specializes in ice escape, and Ching mostly serves as a perception ninja, so none of them chose to participate. Although it is a tradition of the Hidden Mist village that the Mizukage comes from the shadow guard of the previous cage, all the members of the first squad who are well aware of the huge gap in strength between them and Kiyoshi have no intention of competing with their superiors. After becoming the squad leader, Kingsi would often exchange ninjutsu with his subordinates, imparting to them various ninjutsu that he had improved as well as a large amount of ninjutsu knowledge. The strength of the entire first squad has made great progress in the past year or so. Zigwashin Pufferfish Demon, Biwajozo, Kurikaze Kushimaru, and Murashige Shinpeki were deeply impressed by Kiyoshi's strength and his wise leadership that had never made any mistakes and clearly distinguished between rewards and punishments. They had not originally thought of competing with Kiyoshi, but only came to participate in the selection because Kiyoshi felt that they might be more suitable for 4 of the ninja swords. Chapter 54. With the arrival of the third Mizukage Bing, everyone who was originally communicating with each other fell silent. Bing took out the scroll that sealed the ninja swords, input chakra to summon 7 ninja swords, placed them in different positions, and then began to introduce the 7 swords to everyone one by one. Broken Blade, Decapitation, can absorb the iron in the enemy's blood, thereby repairing itself and has the effect of absorbing blood and converting it into chakra to feed back to the owner to restore physical strength. The Beheading Blade has been slightly enhanced, otherwise I can't imagine how it can be ranked alongside the other 6 blades. The sword Samehada is the only living ninja sword with vitality. It can absorb and store chakra, and can also use the large amount of stored chakra to stimulate the body's cells to regenerate and recover from injuries. The person who wields the ninja sword can also merge with it, becoming almost invincible in combat and water. Long Knife, Sewing Needle, a blade that can pierce through everything and sew it up. Blunt Knife, Duki, is said to be able to break through all defenses. Bakuto Fiimo, a ninja sword that can produce explosions. When attacking, it can summon countless detonating tags, and its lethality is extremely strong. Thunder Blade Fang, a pair of sharp blades with lightning coiled around them, capable of both offense and defense, it can create and attract lightning, and has an extremely powerful amplification effect on lightning release. Double Blades, Flounder. A sword that becomes stronger with each battle and has no upper limit. It can store chakra and release it. It can be used for close combat or long-range attack, and has a very large attack range. Everyone who comes here to participate in the selection is the elite of our Kirigakure. These 7 ninja swords are the hard work of successive Mizukages. Today's goal is to select the 7 most suitable people to wield the ninja swords. Strength is important, but the compatibility with the ninja swords is equally important. After introducing the general abilities of the 7 ninja swords, Bing continued, the selection begins now. Everyone participating in the selection will walk to the ninja swords of their respective targets. This selection will take the form of a melee. People who choose the same ninja sword will fight in a melee. The final winner will be the first candidate for this ninja sword. The candidate needs to use this ninja sword to see if it fits him. If he fails to exert the power of the ninja sword, even his own combat effectiveness will be affected, then a new round of melee will be held again until the right person is selected. Having already obtained detailed information about the 7 ninja swords from the third Mizukage in advance, CG walked towards the location of the twin swords, Aoi, without hesitation. In Kingji's opinion, the twin swords, Teitai, are the ones that he believes will increase his strength the most among the 7 swords before he officially attains the strength of a kage. Although the large sword Samehada is also very powerful, he does not need a sword whose main combat method is water jutsu because of his extremely fast chakra recovery speed and his proficiency in all subjects. And one more thing, the twin swords, Flounder, were found and passed down by the first Mizukage, Byakuran, and have important political significance in the village. Its holder will be the captain of this elite force to be established, as well as the captain of the third Mizukage's Shadow Guard. In the future, he will be the first candidate for the fourth Mizukage, so CG is the perfect candidate for this. After listening to the third Mizukage's introduction to the 7 ninja swords, the 4 people beside Kiyoshi, Zigwashin Pufferfish, Biwachozo, Kurikaze Kushimaru, and Murashi Shinpeki, also understood why their squad leader told them that 4 of these ninja swords might be more suitable for them. Zigwashin Puffer Ghost specializes in water jutsu, and has an extremely large amount of chakra. His vitality is also far superior to that of ninjas of the same level. It can be said that the same Hada sword is very suitable for him. Biwachozo usually likes to use giant weapons. He never uses the Anbu standard ninja sword. When performing tasks, he always uses the large ninja sword that he asked someone to make for him. He wields the sword with great vigor. Kurishan Kushimara's chakra control is extremely sophisticated. He can easily control multiple chakra lines in battle. If he was born in Tsunagakure, he would be a natural puppeteer. Mori Jinpachi is one of the very few ninjas in Kirigakure who is proficient in fire release. Moreover, the nature of the fire release he practiced enhances the explosive power of flames. When paired with an explosive ninja sword, he is like a tiger with wings. Then the 4 of them also walked out of the crowd. Zigwashin Pufferfish Demon walked towards the big sword Samehada, Biwachozo walked towards the broken sword Decapitation, Kurasai Kushimaru walked towards the long sword Stitch, and Mori Shinpeki walked towards the explosive sword Fibo. A surprising thing happened. The 2 ninja swords, the big sword Samehada and the double swords Aoi, which sounded very powerful just by hearing the introduction and did not have too high requirements on the chakra attribute of the ninja swords themselves, the most common initial chakra attribute of the ninja Kirigakure is water, were popular, but there were actually several ninjas in front of the giant weapon, the broken sword Decapitation, which looked difficult to use. Seeing that everyone had chosen which ninja sword they would participate in, the third Mizukage Bing spoke again, then we will start with the broken sword and beheading selection. Once everyone is away from here, the melee can begin. Bing put away the 7 ninja swords and turned away. The crowd also quickly retreated to a place where the ninjutsu could not reach, and the selection officially began. Chapter 55. Seeing that the spectators had retreated, Biwachozang took action directly. Water release, Kirigakure Jutsu. Knowing that he did not have the advantage in strength among the others, Biwachozang started with a large-scale fog hiding technique. The thick fog quickly spread, covering the positions of all the combatants and blocking the vision and perception of several people. Biwachozang wanted to use the silent killing technique that he had just mastered not long ago to see if he could secretly eliminate a few people in the fog. Biwachozo, who is almost 12 years old, has reached the level of elite Chunin under the training of CG, and is almost close to the level of Jonin. However, there are real Jonins among the people participating in the battle, and judging from their attire, they are Jonins of the Hojiki clan. The Hojiki clan, who possess the great water arm technique based on their ability to transform into water, are indeed more suitable for using large ninja swords such as the broken sword and decapitation sword, but Biwachozo does not want to give up. The adjutant of his squad leader is from the Kido clan, so Biwachozo has a clear understanding of the Kido clan's combat capabilities. At present, he is absolutely unable to confront a Kido clan senior ninja head-on. What? Ugh! Cough! Before Biwachozang could make any move, several screams were heard from the thick fog, and then 3 figures flew out from the fog and fell heavily to the ground. The 3 of them looked at each other with bitter smiles. Although their injuries were not serious, they knew that the other party was holding back, so they had no intention of fighting back. Instead, they supported each other and walked towards the crowd watching the battle in the distance. This senior ninja named Yuzuki Kizuna has a certain degree of perception ability, and the mist hidden technique performed by Jozo Biwa is not enough to completely block his perception, so he used the fog created by Jozo Biwa with lightning speed and eliminated several other participants in an instant. Now it's one-on-one. I found you! Little brat! A loud shout was heard, and Yuzuki Kizuna suddenly appeared behind Jozo Biwa. He used the Hoshui arm technique to strengthen his arm strength with his right hand, and hit Jozo Biwa hard on the back. Biwa Jozo, who had no time to dodge, was hit by a punch and immediately turned into a large pool of water that tightly wrapped up Kizuna Yuzuki. This was the water clone that Biwa Jozo had prepared long ago. Water escape water prison technique. Seeing that the mist hidden technique had little effect on Yuzuki Kizuna, Jozo Biwa took the initiative to cancel the chakra supply to the technique. He then formed seals with his hands and created another water clone. The newly created water clone then stretched out a hand and inserted it into the water prison. This classic tactic was something he learned from CG. Kid, using the water prison technique to deal with the Kid clan is the biggest mistake you've made. Kid Yuzuki was not at all panicked. Instead, he started to mock and was about to use the water transformation technique to escape from the water prison. Biwa Jozang did not answer, but he already knew that he had won, and the broken sword and decapitation would soon belong to him. Without Biwa Jozo's chakra to maintain it, the mist hidden technique gradually dissipated, revealing the scene on the field. Seeing that Biwa Jozo, wearing an Anbu mask, had the upper hand, the spectators were amazed. Water style, water explosion technique. Before Yuzuki Kizuna was about to break free from the water prison, Biwa Jozo detonated all the chakra belonging to him in the water prison. The entire water prison exploded with a loud bang, and Yuzuki Hojiki, who had turned into water, was blown directly. A large amount of water vapor evaporated. Although Jozo Biwa controlled the power of the technique, Yuzuki Hojiki was still in a seriously injured state. Most ninjas in the ninja world have high offense and low defense, so in confrontations between ninjas, intelligence is very important. Biwa Jozo is very familiar with the abilities of the Kizuna clan, but Kizuna Yuzuki has no idea about Biwa Jozo. Kizuna Yuzuki relies on his own strength and wants to use his strength as a jonin to crush Biwa Jozo head-on, but he falls into Biwa Jozo's trap and is easily defeated by him. After the victory, Biwa Jozo came before the third Mizukage Bing and respectfully took the broken sword and beheading. Biwa Jozo simply swung the broadsword a few times, and his relaxed look proved that he could use it well. Then, under Bing's approving eyes, he imprinted his chakra mark on the sword, and then carried it on his shoulder. Under the envious eyes of others, he returned to the position of the first team. Well done! King Si praised. He was very satisfied with the performance of Biwa Jozo, his subordinate who was dug out by the Watermelon Mountain Puffer Demon. The next thing to do was to select the Great Sword Sameheta, which also had a lot of participants. However, Zigwashin Pufferfish, relying on his strength that had just been promoted to Elite Jonin and his overwhelming amount of chakra, used an A-level Great Explosion Water Wave that used 1/3 of his chakra, combined with an A-level 1000 Food Shark taught by CG, and directly wiped out all the other people. Unsurprisingly, he became the first owner of the Great Sword Sameheta. As for the two knives, the long knife sewing needle and the blunt knife cutting, the former is difficult to control, and the latter is special in appearance and usage, which resulted in only one person participating in the selection with relatively qualified strength. In the end, Kurishan Kushimaru got the long sword, sewing needle, while the third Mizukage Hys bodyguard, Togasano Baito, got the blunt sword, Doujiri. Chapter 56. The same was true for Bakuto Fiumu. There were very few ninjas in the Hidden Mist village with fire attribute chakra, and even fewer ninjas who were willing to learn and master fire style. Jinpachi Mori, who already had the strength of an elite chunin and had been trained by CG, easily defeated his rival and obtained Bakuto Fiumu. The selection of Thunderblade Fang was a fierce competition. There were many ninjas in the Hidden Mist village who could use lightning release. After a hard fight, the final winner was the captain of the second squad of the 3rd division of the Anbu, code-named Shadow. He was a senior ninja from the Sato clan, a small ninja clan that inherited the lightning release ninjutsu. I personally think that Kirigakure is too bad, so I unilaterally kicked him out of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Finally, there is the most fiercely contested double sword, Flounder. Except for Kiyoshi, the other people who came to compete were all from the bloodline families of Kirigakure. They were from large families and had already learned in advance that the master of the twin swords animal flounder would serve as the captain of this special force. In addition, the twin swords animal flounder did not have any strict requirements on the chakra attributes of the user. Therefore, those who came to compete with Kyoji were all veteran elite ninjas of Kirigakure. The participants are Chiba from the Chiba clan, who is also Chiba's biological brother, Hiroji Terumi from the Boiling Terumi clan, Naoki Fujiwara from the Dark Fujiwara clan, and Kimiko Miyajima from the Crystal Miyajima clan. Because this selection was open to the public, the process of the subsequent battles would surely be talked about and widely spread in the Hidden Mist village for a long time. Therefore, although no one from the Kagaya clan was present today, Kingsley, who was worried about being noticed by Kagaya Musashi, did not plan to use the corpse vein in the battle. A hearty 5-person melee is about to break out. The moment the third Mizukage Bing shouted the start of the battle, Kizuna Chiba took action, and his first move was a large-scale B-level water-style ninjutsu that divided the battlefield. Water style, water tornado technique. 4 huge water dragons swirled towards Ching Si and the others. The range of the technique was very wide and there was not much space to dodge, so they could only use their own methods to deal with it. 2 Dun 2 Liubi. Water escape water formation wall. Ming escape suck the hole. Crystal escape, crystal breaking dragon subduing technique. Seiji and Terumi Hiroji chose earth jutsu and water jutsu respectively for defense. Fujiwara Naoki absorbed the attack directly with his special bloodline limit, Hades jutsu. Miyajima Kimiko, the hot-tempered elder sister, directly countered the attack. The collision of the ninjutsu produced a large amount of water vapor and smoke, obscuring everyone's vision. Kingsley, who had the ability to perceive, was like a fish in water at this time, and instantly locked the position of Fujiwara Naoki. He was ready to eliminate this ninja who also had the ability to perceive. Using the instant body flash technique, Kyoji rushed towards Fujiwara Naoki quickly. Naoki sensed that someone was approaching him quickly, so he formed seals with his hands and prepared to release ninjutsu. Ming escapes Yezi destroy Do. After absorbing the water tornado of Chiren Kizuna through the suction hole, a large amount of chakra gathered in Fujiwara Naoki's body. The absorbed chakra transformed into surging blue flames, which were released from his hands and aimed at the direction where Kingsley was rushing towards. Wind escape press. While running, Kingsley quickly formed seals with his hands and shot out a high-density wind ball from his mouth, which directly dispersed Naoki's attack like a heavy artillery. At the same time, a large amount of chakra began to gather in Kingsley's hands. Kingsley, who had already come close to Fujiwara Naoki, slapped Fujiwara Naoki hard with his palm. Water style, blue dragon palm. The close combat water escape technique learned by the guard butler Aoi from his grandfather's master accurately hit Fujiwara Naoki's chest. The huge force pushed him backwards, but he turned into a pool of water in the air and fell to the ground. It's indeed a water clone. Kingsley thought secretly. He had already predicted Fujiwara Naoki's behavior. At this time, behind Kiyoshi, Fujiwara Naoki's body rushed out from a puddle of water on the ground. Although the waterspout had just been absorbed, there was still a lot of water left on the ground. Ming escape suck the hole. Fujiwara Naoki grabbed Kiyoshi's arms tightly with both hands, trying to use ninjutsu to absorb Kiyoshi's chakra. But how could Kingsley, who had already guessed this, do as he wished? As his chakra was gradually absorbed by Fujiwara Naoki, Kingsley turned into a pool of clear water, which was his water clone. Kingsley's real body appeared on the side, forming seals with his hands and releasing ninjutsu, Highway SI. Thunder escape earth walk. Several dazzling bolts of lightning shot out from Kingsley's hands and instantly extended to the water on the ground. Although it was only AC level lightning technique and not very powerful, it could exert tremendous power when combined with the current situation of water on the ground. The lightning beam was conducted by water and turned into a control skill. Fujiwara Naoki was hit and was immediately paralyzed on the spot. I'm on the 3rd floor. Kingsley said with a smile, then stepped forward and gently tapped Fujiwara Naoki's throat. You lose, senior. Fujiwara Naoki smiled bitterly and simply admitted defeat. It's true that the new generation pushes the old generation forward. Elder Yuanshi has a good grandson. After Fujiwara Naoki died, he came to the 3rd Mizukage and sighed. Although few people in Kirigakure currently know Seiji's true identity or have seen Seiji's appearance, Fujiwara Naoki, the current head of the Maitun Fujiwara clan and one of Kirigakure's high-ranking officials, knows that bones, one of Kirigakure's 3 stars and the current captain of the Anbu's first squad, is the grandson of the elder Yuanji. After the smoke cleared, only 4 people were left on the field. Terumi Hiroji and Miyajima Kimiko, who didn't know much about Cg, were a little surprised by his strength, and in their hearts, they were very cautious about this young Anbu. Chapter 57. Chiba Chiba was not too surprised by this. As Chiba Chiba's biological brother, he knew the relationship between his sister and Cg. In addition, Kingxi had visited the Kietsu clan several times, and he and Kingxi knew each other. Although he did not know Kingxi's true situation and true strength, just from the part of the information he learned from his sister, he could know that Kingxi's strength was by no means simple and he was a true genius. Brother Kyunran. 2 seniors, how about a one-on-one fight, and the winner will proceed to the final showdown. Seeing that the situation was at a stalemate, the 4 of them were afraid of being besieged and no one dared to take the initiative, so Kingxi spoke out and proposed. The 3 of them readily agreed to Kingxi's proposal, and then went to find their respective opponents. In the end, Chiba Chiba will fight against Terumiro, and Cg will fight against Miyajima Kimiko. The 2 groups then distanced themselves from each other to avoid affecting each other, and a battle was about to break out. On Kingxi's side, the momentum of the 2 continued to collide in the air, rising steadily. Seeing Kyoji on the opposite side being calm, Miyajima Kimiko, who didn't know Kyoji's specific information, decided to take the initiative to test it. Crystal Release, Crystal Shuriken. Snowflake-shaped crystals emerged from the void, constantly forming shurikens, and then quickly rushed towards Kingxi's position. Instead of dodging, Kyoji drew out the standard ninja sword from behind and easily knocked down every shuriken that flew at him. Then he made a cool sword flower, pointed the blade directly at Miyajima Kimiko, and rushed towards her in an instant. Seeing that the first wave of attempts had no effect, Kimiko Miyajima was not discouraged and continued to make hand seals to prepare for the next ninjutsu. Crystal Escape, Crystalline Pentagonal Road. Under the effect of the crystal release chakra, the entire ground in the direction where Kingxi was moving began to crystallize rapidly. Crystal Escape, Divine Crossing Technique. Kimiko Miyajima changed the seals of her hands and used the next ninjutsu. Dense crystalline spikes protruded from the crystallized ground, trying to pierce Kyoshi. Kingji had nowhere to hide, so he could only jump high and continue rushing towards Miyajima Kimiko from the air. Miyajima Kimiko looked at Cg in the air, and a smile appeared on her lips. In her eyes, Cg, who had nowhere to gain support in the air, was just a target that could be attacked at will. Crystal Escape, One Arrow of Light. Chakra began to boil, and violent chakra fluctuations spread throughout the entire number 15 training ground. A huge crystal appeared in front of Kimiko Miyajima, and then a thick laser shot out from it. This was a powerful B-level crystal escape ninjutsu. With nowhere to hide in the air, Kingxi could only twist his body as best he could before the attack came. The laser passed through Kingxi's shoulder, bringing out a handful of blood that spilled into the air. Although she relied on the powerful force of crystal release, she was able to force Cg into danger and successfully injure Cg with just a simple combination of ninjutsu. It can only be said that Miyajima Kimiko is worthy of being a veteran elite jonin. Captain. The members of the first team of the Anbu who were watching the battle from a distance couldn't help but change their expressions and exclaimed when they saw Ching Si injured. After all, Ching Si was a synonym for powerful in their eyes, and they didn't expect that he would be injured as soon as they fought. Enjing, my lord will not be defeated so easily. Zigwishan Puffer Ghost, with the big sword Samehada on his back, said calmly. As a loyal subordinate of Kingji, he knew clearly that even if Kingji did not use the corpse bone vein, he would not be defeated so easily by Miyajima Kimiko. While everyone was talking, Kingxi endured the pain of his shoulder being pierced, and without stopping in the air, he continued to rush straight towards Miyajima Kimiko below. As Kimiko Miyajima performed a series of ninjutsu, the chakra in her body was running too fast and she could no longer keep up. She was in a state where her old strength had been exhausted and new strength had not yet been generated. Therefore, facing Kingxi's fierce attack, he could only hastily condense a small red crystal shield to block the path of Kingxi's ninja sword. However, how could the hastily used defense withstand Kingji's attack that had been accumulating power in the air for a long time? The crystal shield and the ninja sword shattered at the touch, only slightly delaying the time of Kingji's attack. But this also gave Kimiko Miyajima time to dodge. The blade passed by, but only cut off a few strands of flying hair. Kimiko Miyajima successfully avoided the attack. After missing the attack, Kyoji rushed straight to the ground, pushed his left hand hard on the ground, changed direction and then rushed towards Miyajima Kimiko again. At this time, Miyajima Kimiko, who had gained new strength, would not dodge any more. She quickly formed seals with both hands, Wuzhou Hai Si. Crystal Escape, Emerald Crystal Blade. A half-moon-shaped knife condensed on Miyajima Kimiko's arm and collided fiercely with Kyoji's ninja sword. Crack! A crisp shattering sound was heard, and dense cracks covered the entire ninja sword that Kingji had been using since he joined the Anbu. As one of the bloodline families in the Hidden Mist village, Kingsi had some knowledge of the Crystal Release Miyajima clan. However, Kingsi, who had never fought against a Crystal Release ninja and had no memory of a Crystal Release ninja battle, never expected that the strength of the Crystal Release creatures would be so high. There was no time to reminisce about this ninja sword that had accompanied him for many years. Kingji let go of the sword with his right hand, clenched his fist, turned his body on the spot, and punched Miyajima Kimiko. Kimiko Miyajima opened her palm to block the punch, but saw a smile on Seiji's face. Chapter 58. Senior. Lend me your hand. Kingsi dodged the horizontal slash of the Quijing knife towards his chest by leaning sideways. At the same time, he grabbed Miyajima Kimiko's left hand that was blocking his fist and formed the Zi seal. Kimiko Miyajima was shocked. She had never seen such a thing before and didn't know what Kyoji was trying to do. She hurriedly tried to break free and stay away from Kyoji. But how could Kingsi do as she wished? He let go of her hand and kicked the Quijing knife out of her hand. Then he approached again, and when Kimiko Miyajima lost her balance after being kicked, this time Kyoji grabbed Kimiko Miyajima's right hand with his left hand, and quickly formed the ugly and Si seals with her. The Indian style was completed, and Kyoji then raised his right leg and rammed his knee hard into Kimiko Miyajima's abdomen without any mercy. Kimiko Miyajima, who had not yet recovered from Kyoji's continuous attacks, was knocked flying. At the same time, Kyoji also quickly retreated, putting his hands together as he retreated. Water Release Water Breaking Wave. It was the only S-level water jutsu from the second Hokage, Senju Tobirama, that Seiji had seen in his Haiki's memory. A straight high-pressure water column compressed to the extreme was spit out from Kingji's mouth, pointing directly at Miyajima Kimiko. This is the technique of that Senju Tobirama guy. The third Mizukage Bing who was watching the battle stared. Where did Kingji learn this from? It has been more than 30 years since the establishment of the ninja villages, and this is the first time that S-level ninjutsu has been learned by outside villages, so it is no wonder that the third Mizukage was a little confused about this. Forget it, there's no need to delve into this. Now that we've learned it, it will be our Kirigakure technique from now on. It's a great thing as it can enhance the village's foundation. Bing thought afterwards. Although Miyajima Kimiko, who was facing the water-breaking wave, did not know that this was an S-level water escape technique, she could feel that the power of this technique was not something that ordinary defense could withstand. Therefore, even though the vibrating blood and energy in her body had not yet calmed down, she still endured the discomfort in her body and completed the seal with difficulty, and then she couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Crystal Release, Red Fruit. A red crystal emerged and tightly wrapped Miyajima Kimiko inside. Still feeling uneasy, Miyajima Kimiko continued to release defensive ninjutsu. Crystal Escape, Crystalline Pentagonal Prison. A huge red crystal then appeared outside the red fruit. Facts have proved that Kimiko Miyajima's premonition was correct. The water break wave instantly destroyed the outer crystals. The speed at which the crystals were repaired was far slower than the speed at which the water break wave destroyed them. The extreme high-pressure water escape broke through the crystal escape defenses she had set up layer by layer. But the defense ultimately had the effect of deflecting the attack, which ultimately only pierced Kimiko Miyajima's calf. Although Kimiko Miyajima has a hot temper, her movements are restricted and she has suffered serious internal injuries from the forced use of ninjutsu. She already knows that she is no longer able to fight, so she decisively raised her hand to signal to Seiji that she surrenders. The battle on Kingji's side is over, but on the other side, the duel between Chaijin Hojiki and Hiromu Terumi is still going on. Although Terumi Hiroji only has the fighting power of an elite jonin by relying on the power of the boiling release Kekii Genkai, he is a veteran ninja after all and is not so easy to be defeated. Terumi Hiro's skillful mist technique created a thin layer of boiling mist surrounding his body, which corroded Kizuna Chiba's attacks as soon as they got close to him, and made it impossible to cause any effective damage to him. In the end, it was Chiba who used the water transformation technique to weaken the corrosive power of the boiling release on the body. Then he used an enhanced version of the Great Water Arm technique, risking the damage to his arm from being corroded, and delivered a decisive blow at close range. This heavy punch made Terumi Hiroji lose the ability to fight again. Although Chiba won the duel, he was also injured and was no match for Seiji, who was still in good condition. Although he really wanted to obtain the double swords, Aoi, and become the captain of the Shadow Guard of the Third Mizukage to revive the reputation of the Kizuna clan, Kizuna Chiba's main feature was that he knew how to handle events. In addition, his relationship with Seiji was not bad, and because of Kizuna Chinano, Kizuna Chiba decisively admitted defeat. At this point, the 7 ninja swords all had their owners, and the selection battle officially came to an end. When the dust settled, the people watching the battle from afar gathered around and congratulated the 7 people who finally got the ninja swords. They all knew that the Third Mizukage wanted to make these 7 people into the ace troops of Kirigakure. Although some of them were still weak, since they had become members of the Shadow Guards who wielded ninja swords, they would sooner or later become a banner of Kirigakure in the ninja world. It was politically correct to make friends with them now. At the beginning of the 35th year of Kirigakure, the Kirigakure village's ace force, the 7 ninja swordsmen, which would later become famous in the ninja world, were officially established. The first generation of the 7 ninja swordsmen were Jizo Biwa, a former member of the first squad and first team of the Anbu who wielded the broken sword and decapitation technique and was at the level of an elite chunin. The former captain of the first squad of the first division of the Anbu, who wields the sword Samehata, and is an elite jonin, the watermelon mountain pufferfish demon. Kurosai Kushimaru is a former member of the 6th squad of the 1st division of the Anbu who wields the long sword sewing needle and is an elite chunin. The former guard of the 3rd Mizukage who wields the blunt sword Douch, and is an elite jonin. A former member of the 6th squad of the 1st division of the Anbu who wields the explosive sword Fiamo and is an elite chunin with the strength of Mori Shinpeki. Sato Kage, the former captain of the 2nd squad of the 3rd division of the Anbu who wields the thunder blade Kaiba, and a powerful jonin. And the former captain of the first team of the Anbu who wields the twin swords, Aoi, and is an elite jonin, Otsutsuki Seiji, who is also the captain of the 7 ninja swordsmen, the 3rd Mizukage Shadow Guard. Chapter 59. After Kyoji and others became members of the Shadow Guard, their Anbu organization was not cancelled by the 3rd Mizukage. Strictly speaking, the Shadow Guard is actually a member of the Anbu, but they will no longer carry out the Anbu's missions. The Shadow Guard can be said to be the Anbu directly under the Mizukage, and they are responsible for protecting the Mizukage closely and executing the Mizukage's orders, and they are only responsible to the Mizukage alone. Moreover, the Shadow Guard allows members to not wear ANBU masks or ANBU attire. For example, Seiji's father, Kagaya Genji, was so famous and his corpse vein fighting style was so easy to recognize that he usually wore standard Kagaya clan attire and never wore a mask. So currently among the 7 people, only Seiji and Kurusan Kushimaru are still wearing Anbu masks. Seiji is because he cannot expose himself to everyone now, and Kurusan Kushimaru is simply used to wearing the mask and doesn't want to take it off. Time flies, and more than half a year has passed since the establishment of the 7 ninja swordsmen. During this period, the 3rd Mizukage Bing has been generous with various training resources and ninjutsu, vowing to build the 7 ninja swordsmen into an existence that surpasses the elite demolition troops of the Uegakure village and the once famous Kinkaku and Ginkaku troops of the Kumigakure village. During this half-year, the other 6 people have all mastered the use of their respective ninja swords. With the power of the ninja swords, the combat effectiveness of all of them has been steadily maintained above the level of Jonin. And Kingji, with his extraordinary talent, can master and use all the ninja swords proficiently. It is October of the 35th year of Kirigakure, and 1 year has passed since the outbreak of the Second Ninja World War. The Sand Village and the Konoha Village are worthy of the reputation of the 5 biggest gangsters in the ninja world. After many attacks on each other, the 2 villages have completely pushed the battle line back to the border of the Rain Country. At the Rain Village front, in Hanzo Salamander's command post, Hanzo was unleashing massive attacks on all the Jonin who came to attend the combat meeting. Our Rain country has seen countless large-scale wars in history, whether it is the more distant ancient times, the previous warring states period, or the current ninja village era. It is difficult to say the right and wrong, but it is this place that has determined the rise and fall of countless countries. Hanzo's voice came out slowly, steady and firm. I don't understand why everyone is so dejected, as if this war is doomed to be disastrous for us. A year ago, we divided our troops into 2 groups and attacked the Wind and Fire Kingdoms from here at the same time. We defeated the Sand Village and the Hidden Leaf Village and won a great victory. We broke into the enemy's hinterland with great momentum, and the scene of thriving vitality and competition is still before our eyes. Has it only been a short year, and the war situation in our rain village has fallen into such a tense situation? Hanzo's tone gradually became excited, and his voice unconsciously began to increase. No matter how you look at it, in terms of war strength, we have 20,000 ninjas, while Sand Village and Konoha have only a little over 10,000 ninjas in total. The advantage is on my side. Hanzo gave the final conclusion, his tone still full of confidence in winning the war he started. Order. Hanzo's tone suddenly became serious. All the ninjas present stood up at the same time with serious expressions, ready to accept the orders from their leader. Everyone go back and reorganize the ninjas under your command and prepare for a large-scale operation. Secretly select half of the elite ninjas from the Konoha direction troops, and launch a major counterattack against Sand Village in 10 days. I want to cripple the Sand Village troops in one go, and then concentrate all my forces to deal with Konoha. Hanzo stated his plan. Most of the territory of the Wind Country is desert, and there are not many oases suitable for survival, and most of them are concentrated in the hinterland. In addition, due to the looting of the border towns of the Wind Country in the early stages of the war, the value of the Wind Country to Hanzo and Omegakure is now far lower than that of the Fire Country. Therefore, Hanzo's plan is to first eliminate the Sand Country and make it unable to disrupt the situation, and then concentrate all the ninjas of Omegakure to deal with Konoha. Kaneda, be sure to keep it confidential when you transfer personnel, and try to avoid large-scale friction with Konoha during these days. You stay and continue to confront Konoha, and Heiji will be responsible for leading all the transferred elites to secretly go to the Sand Village defense line. Hanzo continued to instruct his left and right hands. Go back and prepare yourself, the meeting is adjourned. The perspective returns to the Hidden Mist Village. In the Hidden Mist Village, in the Mizukage building, in the Mizukage's office, Seiji and Ken are discussing matters related to the upcoming war with the third Mizukage. I'll give this to you for safekeeping first. After so much training, the weakest of the 7 of you can now rival a Jonin with the help of the ninja sword. It's time to start the mission. Bing picked up the scroll on the table and handed it to Kingsley. It was the ninja sword summoning scroll. This scroll was made by the Hidden Mist Village using a special method. It can not only store ninja swords, but also remotely summon the 7 ninja swords. Chapter 60. Kingji took the scroll respectfully, then took off the double swords, flounder, which were on his back, sealed them into the scroll, and then put the scroll into the ninja tool bag he carried with him. Kingsley has coveted this ninja sword summoning scroll for a long time. After all, his fighting style is not very convenient for him to carry a huge ninja sword on his back. And to be honest, if it weren't for the political significance of the double swords, Aoi, Kyoji might not have chosen to use this sword. After all, this ninja sword has no other obvious function at this stage except for amplifying his attack power and attack distance. Moreover, he had carried it on his back before in order to practice controlling the ninja sword and to keep in line with the other 6 people. Now with this scroll, Kingji can be said to be liberated. Seeing Qingxi's impatient actions, Bing smiled knowingly, then turned his gaze to Jian and asked, "What is the current situation?" The Raikage has sent several letters urging us to send troops to the Whirlpool country as soon as possible. The relevant information has been collected, and the preparations have been made. The envoy can be dispatched at any time. Jian replied without hesitation, then paused for a moment and continued, "But, Lord Mizukage, I don't think now is a good opportunity." "Oh." Bing was non-committal. "Tell me in detail." "It's like this, Lord Mizukage. According to the intelligence sent back by the envoy that are carrying out missions on the mainland, the war between Konoha, Sand Village and Omegakure has gradually slowed down in recent times, and there haven't been large-scale battles for a long time." Jian organized his thoughts and said slowly, "If we attack the land of whirlpools at this time, Konoha, which is not mired in the war, will most likely send elite ninjas to rescue the land of whirlpools. We cannot pin our hopes on Konoha's integrity. Although Konoha may not make all-out rescue efforts, after all, the wife of the first Hokage who is still alive is named Uzumaki, and she is also the Jinchuriki of the 9 Tails." After listening to Ken's idea, CG on the side nodded in agreement. "I believe that the war will not end in a short time, and the Hidden Rain Village led by Hanzo of the Salamander will not be defeated so easily. Therefore, the best opportunity should be when a large-scale war breaks out again between Hidden Rain Village and Konoha." Jian continued to add, "Well, that makes sense. In fact, I didn't think of taking action so early. After all, our ultimate goals are different from those of Kirigakure. According to our plan, Konoha's performance is of utmost importance. We must wait until the best time when Konoha has no time to take care of other things. Bing said slowly, and then gave orders to the sword. Sword. Send a few more teams to the battle area and keep a close eye on the movements of Konoha, Tsunagakure and Omegakure. Report any signs at any time. Then send someone to deliver a letter to Kirigakure, asking them to wait patiently. Good things come late. Haha. Yes. Jian agreed and left the Mizuki's office. After Jian left, Bing slowly stood up and walked to the huge French window. He put his hands behind his back and said, Xiao Qingji, the Jinchuriki of the 3 tails and 6 tails are about to collapse. You must be ready to go at any time. Don't worry, Lord Mizukage. The 7 ninja swordsmen are always ready. King Si's words were sonorous and powerful, expressing his determination to Bing. 10 days passed quickly, and Hanzo was ready for the decisive battle with the Sand Village. October 35, Kirigakure 10, morning. The perception ninjas at the Sand Village Front Command Center are sensing the direction of the Rain Village base as usual. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the silence of the Sand Village. Several sensory ninjas were no longer as calm as usual. Cold sweat covered their cheeks. They shouted anxiously, hurry up and inform Cho-sama and Ebizo-sama. A large force from the Rain Village is attacking. The leader is Hanzo Salamander. Having tasted the sweetness of sneak attacks, Hanzo actually didn't want to have such a high-profile decisive battle with the Sand Village. However, in such a head-on confrontation on the battlefield, such a large number of ninja troops had no way to cover their tracks. Moreover, a small ninja village like the Rain Village, which lacked the inheritance of ninjutsu, did not have any ninjutsu that could cover up or block its own chakra aura. Leading the Tsunagakure side were the advisory elders Cho and Ebizo, a brother and sister. When they got the news, they realized that Hanzo could not continue to fight and wanted to have a decisive battle with Tsunagakure, so they quickly gathered all the ninjas to prepare for a head-on confrontation with Omegakure. The Tsunagakure ninjas had long been tired of the petty fights with Omegakure. Coming from the 5 major ninja villages, they looked down on the ninjas from smaller villages like Omegakure from the bottom of their hearts. Furthermore, since Omegakure's sneak attack on the border last year, although the battle line had been pushed back into the territory of the Rain Country, there had never been any large-scale head-on confrontation between the two involving more than 10,000 ninjas. There was a drizzle in the sky. On the endless plain, Hanzo of the Salamander, Cho, and the brother and sister Ebiz stood in front of their own ninja troops. Hey! The one wearing the snorkel. Cho showed her sharp tongue as soon as she opened her mouth, and gave Hanzo a very appropriate nickname. This made Hanzo so angry that he was fuming. After all, ever since he became the leader of the Hidden Rain Village, no one dared to tease him or call him that for a long time. You've brought so many people here, it seems like you are going to have a decisive battle with us, the Sand Village. The little Rain Village that only dares to launch sneak attacks now dares to confront us head-on. Cho continued to attack Hanzo crazily in front of the formation. Stop talking nonsense. Let's see who's the winner on the battlefield. Hanzo interrupted Cho. Since he had already started the war by a surprise attack, he was not afraid of other people's comments. History is written by the victors. As for victory in the war, he has the final say. Moreover, as the leader of the Hidden Rain Village, he must put the interests of the Hidden Rain Village first. The process is not important at all. After all, he is the hero of the Hidden Rain Village, the demigod Salamander Hanzo.